And we are live, random episode, unplanned stream, special guest. Can we even call Joe Hall a special guest? You know, member of the family. He's been I don't even know if we call it a hiatus. He's just kind of the schedule's been a little bit stripped back. You know, you was on the special episodes. This is a special unplanned episode. Don't know what we're going to talk about, but we're here, another live stream. So yeah, man, let's just what's up, Joe? How are you feeling?
I feel good, mate. I feel wonderful. Last night I did the late night grin, which starts, for anyone who's unaware, it starts at 4:05 a.m. for you and I, one tell. And we finished at about 6. And because we had guests, you know, usually we can do long post shows. You've experienced this on here and over there. Because we had guests, I thought I would just let everyone go to bed because it's late, right? So I'm like, all right, guys, appreciate it. Bye. And then Alex messages me and he goes, no post show, what the hell? So then, at 6:45 a.m., I re-entered the StreamYard. The new low for me, I felt. Re-entered the StreamYard studio.
Quite sick behaviour, to be honest.
Sat there for 2 hours, talk shop, and then by the time it was all over with, I'd lost my whole morning. So then I came around today here and I thought, I want to do a wrestling show. I did that tweet. You hit me up and I thought, let's do it. I mean, the truth is, Money, I don't think I had the energy to do an actual solo show. This felt like a good chance to, you know, just play some hits, feel it out.
Yeah, man, just hanging out. That's what we're doing. Talk a bit of professional wrestling. You know, the Olympics is on too. You know, we got there's stuff going on. People, we got a live chat full of friends and family. Where someone just popped me in a live chat. Where is it? Watch me not find it now.
That's always what happens.
Here we go. Simeon. The thumbnail was misleading. I thought Ibis would be hosting this special Saturday pod.
What was
He's
the
been
thumbnail?
awoken.
Was it Big Rome?
It's Big Rome. Who else? You know, just a random professional wrestling episode of Wrestle Purist live streaming. You know, what happened last night, the OTC. You know, so here we are. He's the thumbnail, people.
You remember the Iron Beast Wrestle Purist Worldwide episode?
Oh, yeah, I was going to get to that. I think everybody thought it was going to turn out differently, you know. I thought he was going to storm onto the court and give us hell, but I don't know. It sounded like he was having an asthma attack, and it was... I don't know what I don't even. What did he even say? He barely strung a sentence together. I don't know what happened. But shout out Ibis, he just popped me on the timeline. But
he's an artist on the timeline.
He is.
Like I wasn't really familiar with the stylings of Ibis before Worldwide.
Fair.
I just showed up one day and it was like, "Oh, we're gonna have Ibis on," and I was like, "Really? Interesting." And then that happened, and I didn't but then I saw that he did he did an actual hiatus when Big Rome was out, which is really, I mean,
respect.
That was a 4-month shift of not posting. You got to respect it, really. But yeah, it was good. I mean, I like Roman Reigns personally. He's the OTC.
He's pretty good. It's pretty over. If you didn't notice, you know.
That was. As anyone who follows me on Twitter, I wasn't a big fan of a lot of SmackDown last night, but oh my God, you talk about being over. Wow, dude. Living and dying with every momentum shift in that brawl. It's just unbelievable. Unbelievable.
He moves the people, you know. Everyone's just happy to throw the ones up, rejoicing. It's almost what it's like. The people are rejoicing. Roman Reigns back. He's a good guy now. It's he's finally at the spot where people wanted him to be a decade ago. You know, it's almost surreal to see, but not surprising when you've seen how the past few years have played out for him. You know, he's been a force, man. It's like I was watching the Bryan Danielson interview that he did recently, and he's talking about how certain wrestlers didn't really like adapt their approach in the pandemic, and that was kind of the thing. And he compared it to being like we went from doing live theatre to doing cinema, you know. And obviously Roman Reigns caught onto that straight away, and he was like, when he was basically just putting over Roman Reigns the way he adapted to that so quickly and so effectively. then that obviously planted all the seeds and laid a lot of the groundwork storytelling wise, like in the pandemic era, for him to then translate that to the big arenas and stuff. And things just felt larger than life because people have the connection to these characters, because I guess that's what the pandemic era gave wrestlers the chance to do, is like a lot more dialogue and stuff like that, you know? So,
Yeah, it's interesting. I always think about, I mean, it would all end up similar, I'm sure, but it's amazing how things work in terms of, Jey Uso having to be a singles wrestler
yeah.
was a major part in the Bloodline angle. And you just think to yourself, let's be honest, really, Jimmy never should have even been having the match that he tore his knee in, right? That silly ladder match in an empty arena. And it's like that happening in a weird way shaped, because a huge part of the appeal with the Bloodline, honestly, the core appeal initially, beyond just the novelty of Heyman and Roman, was the Roman Jay, their match, their first match. And then, the second match I was less bullish on, but I like the finish at least. Remember the finish with Jimmy and the cinema and such. It's amazing. You kind of look back, it's 4 years ago now.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's clearly the thing that Roman's going to be remembered for. I mean,
100%.
Yeah.
Well, that's his whole story, even though obviously the majority of his career he was, Shield, babyface Roman, etc., etc. It's like when we tell Romans, and when people tell Roman's story in the future, when he's all said and done, it'll be like everything was built into the tribal chief run, and I guess it has in a way, this caged animal, and he was being forced to be like this corny kind of, it just wasn't him, Whereas like this version of a babyface, Top Guy Roman, it works because he's been able to really mold his character into being, he's just he can swing heel babyface and stuff because he's got a character with so much depth, So if he swings one way, you can justify it. He swings the other way, you can justify it, etc., etc., etc.
Oh, for sure. He's much more natural. He believes in this persona, right? It feels like he actually enjoys it. Obviously, he has a lot of input. I think we can't underestimate, and I say this, as a compliment. It's like he also learned that sometimes you have to be really selfish as a top guy. They were being real, right? Like, I don't think Roman Reigns now would be putting over Shane O'Mac on a pay-per-view like he was in 2019.
Oh.
No
way.
Not to say that he was like a good Samaritan in terms of putting guys up, but like the understanding of Roman pre-Tribal Chief was he would just do what he was asked to do. And all the boys loved him. And when he came back, that was not his intention, was not to be the locker room, it was to be the Tribal Chief, right? It's like, and there's a lesson in that. It doesn't mean that everyone has to act that way. There are outliers, but that dude takes his business super seriously, man. I don't think I'm breaking any news on that. Like he ain't fucking around, dude. He takes it very seriously. I'm sure it'll make for some interesting dynamics on SmackDown. It's a good problem to have, right? Like, if you have big egos and big stars, generally it's a sign things are going well. It's just a matter of policing those big egos and big stars. So it'll be very fun to see how it all pans out.
I think it worked out pretty well yesterday. In terms of like Cody starting the show, Roman ending the show. Obviously, the Roman stuff is going to be a lot more impactful for pretty much the foreseeable future because he just came back, and they've got obviously he's back. He's a babyface now. It's just like it's this really fresh, exciting time, But yeah, I think Cody still felt like the man as well, and Roman felt like the man later on. So
and for all my issues with some of the underneath matches on SmackDown, I think the Cody KO stuff could be really good, actually, really good. Kevin Owens as a character that kind of knows he shouldn't go for that belt. He knows the danger it brings and what it'll do to him. Like, I think that's one of those great examples of like there are a lot of wrestlers that could do what Kevin did last night and would come across like absolute losers. Like, nah, bro, I don't deserve a title shot, win-loss record. Like, most guys, if you give them that material, it would be really bad. But he has that kind of Foley vibe.
Kev.
Yeah, where the people kind of go, yeah, you do. Go on, Kevin, you deserve it. Brilliant. Like, it's just execution is everything. I thought that was really strong. I thought that was strong, obviously, Roman's angle and the Andrade match.
Yeah.
specifically, if we're being honest, and we've loved to Santos Escobar, it was the Andrade performance, right? More than anything.
Yes.
He got the people with him, and I think he is in like spectacular form right now, dude. Andrade is super locked in, right? It's exciting. You and
I think, is it form or is it just when Andrade wrestles regularly?
Yeah, maybe.
You know?
Regular division, he was pretty much, he's delivering the same way. He's so good. What I love about Andrade is like the things that make him a great pro wrestler. A lot of it is kind of timeless, right? Like those classical 100%. Great worker qualities, and his physicality, his timing. But then he has that innovation of a modern wrestler in terms of some of the cooler stuff he does.
Yeah,
that's the highlight reel.
Yeah,
he can do it all, man. He's incredible wrestler. Tremendous.
Yeah, Andrade. I really like the Santos LA Knight segment as well. Before, like we talked about LA Knight as well. Like LA Knight with that belt, bro. We just went out there and he was just like, all right, this is my time, sort of thing. And you could feel it, man. It was great. And say what you want about Santos Escobar, but he can talk, man. And I thought they put together a good segment between the two of them before the match with Andrade, and he got to show he got to do his thing. So all three of them, looked good in parts last night. So yeah, good shit, man. Andrade's just. I've said it for years at this point now, but he's got one of my favorite offenses, like just his bag. Especially when he's fully flowing. When he first got really big in AEW, it was like concerning, Took him a while, it was like, whoa. But yeah, then obviously he went on kind of like that early Collision run. That was really, really promising. And now in WWE, whenever he's given consistent matches and he can flow, he's one of the best, man. He's great.
I absolutely agree. I mean, I haven't got a list off the top of my head, but it feels like he's got to be one of the top 3 to 5 guys in WWE inside the ropes, right? Gotta be. Has to be. Like Gunter's
definitely like
he's the one seed, right?
Yeah.
Gunter.
PD AJ.
AJ, yeah. I think it was very noticeable. Like, the pay-per-views he was on, and then when he was off, like, I actually think you noticed like he brings a lot physically, dude. A lot of the fellas in WWE, and I mean, it's a compliment to them because they've got over. But when you get over, you can start getting a little loose with some of your stuff,
Yeah, man.
Yeet and things of that nature.
Yeah, Jey Uso's like the really like glaring example, but it's more so with him because it's not exactly like he had a physical reputation before. So now when he's doing all the, and the yeet and it's just it's like, oh, this is very just like playing the hits, just having a. He has fun out there,
for sure. And the people have fun. It's like 80s though. Honestly, in that way, it's like the 80s again, where it's like, guys would go up there with like reputations as being like these serious wrestlers, and then they would, do what they do. And it's AJ. I think you've noticed his absence because he is one of the guys who still really is aggressive, right? He gets spiteful in there. Him and Andrade, I've been talking for months about how much I want to see them wrestle because they're two of the most aggressive guys in ring in the whole company, right? You got them two, like Ilya would be up there. Sheamus, obviously, always down for clobbering.
It's kind of striking and almost concerning how much guys stick out now if they're just simply physical, the way that like you're kind of supposed to be, obviously not everybody's Gunther, Sheamus, etc., but like just physical. It's like when Roddy wrestles on AEW, bro. It's like it just stands out because he's just so physical and intense, and the pace he puts on guys, like, it's a shoot to him, please. And but yeah, all those guys you just mentioned, like all guys that most wrestling fans would say stand out to them as some of the great performers around today. Every single one of them. It's like one of the main things is just there's physical, like just. We need more physicality back in wrestling, man. A lot of these strikes these days, it's getting loose, Joe.
It is, and I think it's because there is like I think guys need to realize that you can throw whatever looks good is what you should be throwing, right? Like, if you can't throw good punches, don't throw them. Like, throw forearms. If you can't throw good forearms, then throw, kicks or chops or palm strikes, like Bas Rutten, whatever it takes, But I think the forearm thing is a problem in that, like,
kind of drives me insane.
Yeah, because they should still look good, dude. They really should. There are guys who throw great forearms, and it stands out. You can hear the sound, you can see it, you can see the sweat fly. You know, AJ Styles always used to talk about on Talking Shop, and he used to sound like an insane person, as he often did on Talking Shop. I'll leave that there. But he would talk about how you can hear a guy here with forearm, and no one's going to be, it's fine. Might be a little bit bruised afterwards, but it's not a problem. And it amazing. And there are some really good wrestlers. This isn't an indication they're bad. Like I'll name someone who I think people watching this know I think a lot of. Claudio Castagnoli is great. Great. He needs to go back and revisit the tape on some of these forearms. Lord Regal would not stand for it, folks. I'm just being honest. But you get in a rhythm, right? And it's like Claudio's just having matches and he's doing his thing, and like he's so naturally good that like he can kind of sleepwalk to a good match.
Yeah, of course. And he kind of has done at times.
I think so. Yeah, I do think. I think the world of Claudio, but I do think as of late he's been very like kind of easygoing is the word I'll use, the phrase I'll use. But he has been consistent for so long that I guess it is what it is. But yeah. Point stands.
And his level of just kind of, like we said, he can kind of sleepwalk his way through a good match because he's still just that good. He's well into his. How old is Claudio now? He's got to be like 40 something.
Yeah, got to be in his 40s.
Let's Google it. We ain't got nothing on the.
He looks so good still physically too. Doesn't he? He looks great. Like
he's 43.
43.
And he's not someone where you're like, he's gonna wind down next year. It's like no. He'll go as long as he wants to, man.
It's amazing, dude. Those guys are just timeless, right? They're sticking around. They still feel like the best guys. We did on Late Night Grim, we did a watch along for Prestige show last month. And the best workers on the show were, if you was a scout and I said to you, every wrestler on this show you could sign, you would sign Sabin and Shelley, Roddy and Thatcher, and Athena. And it's like all of those people.
Physical.
Yeah, and not just that, but they've all been, how long have they all been broke in, right? Like Athena's been going for 16 years, maybe 15. It's like it's not an anomaly. That crop of guys and gals just fucking rugged, dude. They bring it. But
that to earn it, Joe.
We sound like old heads, but it's 6 p.m. on a Saturday. It's 6 p.m. on a Saturday. Let's cook.
Let's let the chat cook a little bit. We've got a few super chats lined up. A lot of pops for Mr. Hall, but Bam, $2. Appreciate it as always. Hashtag we want Joe Hall, but hashtag Monty is GOAT. Hashtag feeling is back. Appreciate you, brother.
Let's not get in a habit of the restore the feeling business. I know that's become a dangerous game. Every week we have to reassess if the feeling is back or not. It's a bad idea.
Kale, 50 pesos. Appreciate you as always. In light of the continued success of the Late Night Grins draft shows, I hereby humbly request the Wrestle Purist crew to do one of their own, please. Probably so hard because it's like
schedule.
You have to get scheduling everyone, And I threw it out there in a couple of the group chats, but it's like everyone needs to you need to pressure them. So basically on the timeline, pressure Ibu, AO, Rob, Marcus, Charlie, Anna, Jamie, anyone who you want to see on it, just I don't know, just pressure them, and we'll make it happen.
It's easier for us because we don't have people aren't booked for other things, right? So it's like this is the Grin show this week. We can do a draft, but yeah, it's once it happens, it will be a hell of a time because that you can't go wrong with that concept. The drafting stuff is like the easiest pop.
I wanted to do it for a while, man. It's like you said, the concept's just fun. It's just fun. Put together some fun teams, do a couple teams or two,
Definitely.
Rob and Chris picking the worst roster you've ever seen. But yeah. Manny, part of the alumni of Wrestle Purists. We need to get Manny. We can get Manny on a draft episode. That's what I'm saying, bro. We're opening doors here with draft episodes. All right, so Manny 999, much love. Sorry about my alarm, people. Manny says, Joe almost made me listen to Saint Rogi. Who, Joe? Help me here.
Podcast with Rogan. I think he's talking Joe Rogan. Yeah. I told Manny about Rogan Rampage episode where they talk about vaccines.
Okay, that makes sense now. Inform me of his podcast with Rampage after you listened to it the other day. I almost went back to my old ways. That's terrifying super chat.
When I told Manny about it, I didn't know that he'd like beat the Rogan sickness that he was battling when we were friends as close to his shows. I'm still friends, man, but I don't talk to him as much because we don't just do show. But like when we used to do shows weekly about it, he was like he had an infection of Rogan, right?
Yeah, you'd bring him up unprompted, and it's like we all listened to some Joe Rogan interviews back in the day, but it
was a simpler time.
It was a simpler time.
We're going to do this I don't want to do a lot of Rogan talk, but the thing he does now where he talks about politics for 2 hours on every show and then goes, don't listen to me when it comes to politics, folks. I don't know.
Yeah, and it's always got longer. So like at the start of like, I don't know, all the Trump COVID era, that's been that's going on in the US over the past few years. It would be like, he'd say one or two things and be like, "Oh, don't listen to me. I'm just a comedian. I'm an idiot." You know what I mean? And he'd be like, "Oh, whatever." But now he does that like every guest, bro. Rampage. No, you're doing it with Rampage. Like, Rampage Jackson don't want to talk about this shit, bro. We want him to talk about like pride.
That's it, dude. They were talking about pride in the UFC, and it's like, anyway, COVID. And it's like, no, this is wrong. Yeah, whatever.
And it's assault on $2. Tavion Heights and Dragon Bang stocks going through the roof. I haven't been able to catch up with any of the N1, but I will be. When the N1 and the G1 are coming to a close, I'm gonna like be very selective. Pick like 5-10 matches from each one, and just sit down one of the days and see if anything moves me.
Good for you.
I've seen a couple of Yoya's matches because just the reviews of the matches have popped me that much. I've had to see them. Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, he's back. But yeah, Takeshita's obviously I've heard a lot about him. I don't think Dave's given him a match under 4.5 stars yet. But
Dave's I think he's leveled up again, to be honest with you. I really do. I'm blown away by what he's producing. The one where he had the philosophical moment about overrating WWE matches, and then the next day did the 4-star solo affair. That was best ever, dude.
Novi $2 appreciate it. Just guys talking craps. Love to see Takeshita fire emoji. Yeah, he's very good, bro. He's very, very good. He's a stud, man. So
yeah.
It's make his AEW return super impactful when it happens, and really like this. Much like I think similar to like Daniel Garcia, especially with like the AEW fans. Like if Garcia does sign that deal, because as far as we're aware, he has got an offer on the table from AEW, but he's still not signed it. He may sign it, I don't know. He may come back before he signs it. We don't know, But if he comes back, it's always been like, in the future, Daniel Garcia is going to be one of their guys. And it's like he's now got to a point now where there's been flashes of a push. And he always performs. That's the thing that's really annoying, I think, to AEW fans. That no matter where Garcia is, like, if he gets one of these little 3-week pushes that he gets, he always performs. He always gets over. And it's like the fans are ready to see it now. They're ready to see him like really be like up there and develop into one of their like main guys, And it might take patience. It might mean a couple low quarters, but they need to make it happen with him.
It's an investment, isn't it, at the end of the day.
Exactly. Yeah. I think Takeshita, it'll be the same because, like, bro, we watched this guy beat Omega twice. I think pinned him twice, didn't he?
That's the biggest thing. I mean, I think Dynamite was good this week, and I actually think it's been pretty good as of late, consistently. To be honest,
yeah,
I actually
the last
say 4, 5 weeks, 6 weeks.
The last
mostly
not this week. The last 2 weeks before that were really good. Or 4.
Really good. Yeah.
This week was pretty good.
Yep.
But yeah, they've got in terms of quality, it's been pretty decent shows.
The shows are good. The biggest thing they have to prove, honestly, not just to the fans, but to the talent, if we're being real, is like the guys are going to be truly elevated, right? Like, and I think there are some positive signs, right? Mariah May has definitely been elevated. Obviously, we need to see how that sticks post Wembley. Swerve he's come a long way, but you need to see like a trend of like a turnover in roster, and I think that would help. I think that would help perception among fans, and frankly, I think the wrestlers, right? Because the wrestlers see it, dude. They're as online as us. They see it. They get frustrated too, right? Like it's part of the game.
100%.
So, yeah,
And they
that's a
take
key
notice of these things when people, like, I know we kind of like scoff at it and stuff because it is what it is, but it's like the wrestlers notice things like Ethan Page going to WWE, going to NXT, and
Absolutely.
immediately becoming world champion there. Like
Dude.
they notice things like that, bro, and they notice. Maybe some people will notice things on the other end of the scale as well. Like they'll notice that Dragon Lee's gone over there and things haven't quite like picked up for him. I know there's like, talk of him being away on paternity leave, but even before that, it's like it was so stop and start with him, and you know, so it's like the wrestlers notice these things in both companies. You know, if people come in and get elevated, or they come in and have like a middling run, like they all take note, man.
It's the challenge is, Monty, is what it's the balancing act of if I was booking AEW, I'd bring in Bobby Lashley. But if I'm bringing in Bobby Lashley, that makes it harder to do what I just said, right? In a lot of ways. You know, if Sheamus's deal comes up, what am I going to do? I'm going to sign Sheamus, you know? But it's you have to do you can do that, but you still have to get the young guys over, and that's the balancing act, I guess, the challenge.
I think it's more. I think it's just timing, man.
Yeah.
Because I think it's like Garcia and Takeshita. I think those are like the two examples, I guess, that we're like talking about now. Because I'd say they're probably the two best examples. You know, that needs to happen like now. That needs to happen like yesterday, like last year. You know. Whereas I think with Bobby Lashley, he's obviously not going back to WWE. So it's like if you can come to some sort of deal with him where he's like he's not coming in right now, he can go Japan or do whatever he wants to do over there and do his, you know what I mean, do his little side quests and stuff like that. And then I don't know, at the end of the year, when you've had the time to focus and establish your Takeshita's, your Garcias, etc., then it's like, oh, we can bring in Bobby Lashley and he can maybe even feud with one of those guys, you know? And it's like, it's just timing out. It's like, we don't have to have them all at once. And I know obviously that can be tempting to want as a fan, but it's like, I guess when you do what we do in terms of like looking at things with a microscope and like wondering how things are going to play out, like sickos, these things have to be balanced out. You know, you can't just have all these people just thrown in and then expect them to be like used properly and focused on properly and elevated the way that you want them to be. So
for sure, it's I think
I'm sure
creatively you got to pick guys ultimately. That's what it always comes down to, right? You have to make tough decisions. Who am I going with? I agree with you. Those two should be priorities, though. Definitely.
100%. And I think when you watch an episode like Dynamite, like this week, like it was a solid episode of TV, man. But it's like in terms of like what really happened on the show, there wasn't really that much, you know, to write home about, sort of thing. And I think when guys like Garcia and Takeshita come back into the fold, if they are like noticeably being pushed, people will tune in just to see those steps of elevation. Do you know what I mean? And it'll feel like things are happening. You know, like this new crop of guys coming to the top. Like it'll feel like things are really happening. So, they've got so. I think the thing with AEW is that they do have so many like bullets. Do you know what I mean? They have so many things that they could do, bro. Like the roster's insane. It's just kind of like the balancing act, how you spread that across shows and making things impactful and stuff like that, and building to your pay-per-views effectively. Obviously, it's a hard juggling thing. I think
for sure.
You know, we all talk about it. Armchair fans, you know what I mean? It's very easy. Cool. Yeah. It's what are these live streams? You know, it's basically what these are. But you know, it's obviously it's very difficult. But I don't know, man. I think there's just so much potential there. Even though things are pretty good like now, you know. But
it could be better. For sure.
So much more.
Could definitely be better. Definitely. For sure.
Mazfan 84 199. Oleg Boltin is the next big thing. Mark my words. I haven't seen a lot of him because, like I said, I haven't seen loads of the G1. But yeah, people have been hyped about it in the past couple of weeks, man. Looking promising.
I see clips.
Yeah.
Looks cool.
And that's $2. Give me Bobby in Japan. Yeah, man, I'll be with it, bro. Let him do blood sport. Let him go over to Japan, like the super chat says. Let him. I don't know, man. The only thing I'd be like if I was TK and I was like, all right, we're bringing you in, but later I'd be like, you ain't doing no like bare knuckle boxing and shit, bro. Like,
yeah, he needs to
keep
avoid
it in
that
the
stuff.
wrestling. Keep it in the wrestling realm, and we're good, bro. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'd love him to do something over Japan. I don't know if the money is there necessarily. It'd be cool, super cool. But if he could do New Japan like as on behalf of AEW, I guess so. Now would pop MVP because he's a huge
I feel
fan.
like Bobby's not fully loved for the game, but you know,
He's got enough money, kind of deal. Maybe he'll do some quirky stuff. MVP might be able to convince him, dude. People forget MVP quit the WWE when no one was doing that to go work Japan. He might, maybe. I don't know. But by the way, speaking of MVP, because he's doing the Bloodsport deal, I had no idea, dude. I didn't realize he was an actual black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
I believe it was recently he got his black belt, but yeah, he's been Jiu-Jitsu guy for obviously years and years now. So
a black belt is like fuck, man.
Yeah,
God
bro.
bless. Yeah.
Putting it on that grind, bro.
Absolutely.
Sapito 199, Joe Hulbert. Simple but effective.
Agreed. Good call.
Bam, $2. Cody is over. Cody is over. You had your Mickey Mouse reign. So, very spiteful. The people still love him, man. You know, these Twitter narratives. You need to stop it, people. You know, people love him. Mouse 184 199. Need to see a Hogan Ventura political debate. Do you really?
That would be like a squash match, dude. Hogan's got no standing in any kind of debate, let alone political debate. There's no way.
All right. Forgive me for botching this, but Aditya Krishnamurthy, 40 rupees. Thoughts on Dom as a worker worth a reappraisal? I think Dom's a nice heel, chicken shit, good in tags. Yeah, man. I think he's very good. I think he's as good as his level, the level that he's booked at needs him to be. Do you know what I mean? Like he's very much. I wouldn't say he's one of the best workers in WWE, but he's very, very solid TV worker now. He knows how to play off his heat very well because he's been getting it for so long that he really knows how to weaponize it. So he's very good at that. And I think he's genuinely a good tag worker. So
yes,
yeah, man.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think he's got quite a bit better, but I think the biggest thing that he's got good at is like, addition by subtraction. So that's not the right phrase. I don't know. Maybe it is. Either way, my point is what he's good at is he knows what he should and shouldn't do as this character, right? Because when he first started wrestling as a babyface, it was like he was trying to do things that he wasn't particularly good at. And as he's got further and further into this run, I think he's realized, like, dude, there's absolutely no reason for him to be doing springboards and stuff. He's
Especially
a heel.
being a heel, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
and he's
an not
asset
Ray,
for them,
you know? He's
right. Exactly. He's a super big asset for them on TV. Like, I don't know if he's ever going to be someone who regularly works main event matches. I have no idea. But to what you said, for his role, he's pretty much perfect right now.
I'm not one of those fans who's secretly hoping that he comes back or anything, but it was fascinating to hear that like Brock was supposed to be working with Dom at one point. Like that was going to be the program that Brock was going to come back in the Rumble and work Dom after. So like that was that fascinated me for a short while until everything obviously played out. But yeah, man. Dom overall, I think he's good, man. He's good, and he's as good as he needs to be at the moment with what they're doing with him. And obviously, he's got super heat at the moment, so he's living. He's living right now, brother. You know. Another 100 rupees. Cody versus KO. Gunther versus Randy Orton. Sammy versus
Sammy and Jay. Jammy.
Jay and Sammy versus Judgment Day. Nia, Naomi and Blair, and Bianca and Jade versus Spooky Scott, and Rome versus Tama or Santos. LA for Berlin, or Bron Breakker versus. God, this is a lot. Or Bron Breakker versus Kaiser for Berlin.
Well,
God, that's
there's a lot going on here.
Right.
I don't know if we look. We're both. You and I were league leaders in the Nia Jax, comeback. I don't know if we need that match that's listed there. If I'm being honest with you, I'm not trying to be rude, but I mean, is that something we need to do? Really?
Ryan versus Tama.
That's also strange, but maybe. Santos in LA does not need to be on pape. Do that on TV. That's not really a big match.
I think that is going to be TV as well. To be
Bron Kaiser is a good one. Bron Kaiser.
The only thing that makes me think that Santos LA might maybe be at Berlin is that, like I said yesterday, yesterday's segment was it was good between Santos and LA.
Yeah. So
they might look at that and okay, we can eat up 2-3 weeks of TV with this and just do the match in Berlin,
Maybe.
So, because I do think that would produce pretty decent TV. It's just that the match would be pretty. I don't think it would be bad. I just think it would be pretty okay or whatever.
Are they doing TV in Berlin or not? Do you know? Because they sometimes do.
I think they're doing a SmackDown there because they're doing a week of house shows in Belgium, Germany, and I think there might be Holland or something like that.
That's where I would do the Santos LA match, because then you give the people a chance to speak. It could be like the main event of the TV rather than it being on third on a page. Because let's be honest, dude, the first two matches on the Berlin show are I think they're more interesting than anything that was on SummerSlam. You don't really, I mean, the rest of the card, I think they're not going to be, knowing how they do these things, I don't think it's going to be the most compelling. The rest of the stuff, it'll probably be supporting matches. I think you'll probably get that Bianca and Jade one because they wasn't on SummerSlam.
What do you think Solo? How do you think Solo factors into the
Solo? The big fundamental Solo Scar.
I mean, you got to factor him in, though, haven't you? It's he's not someone I'm jumping to see or anything, but he's such a big part of what they're doing right now. But it's he's going to have some So it's obviously we're getting the two announced matches: Cody versus KO, Gunther versus Randy. I don't know about Jay and Sammy versus Judgment Day. I don't know if that's going to be.
I'm not sure.
Maybe I don't know. I don't know. Then Nia. Yeah, I
don't think we're. Yeah, that's the one that scared me first.
Jade. I don't know. In terms of the tag titles, but yeah, Jade and they are going to do that trios match though, with Blair Davenport, Alba Fire.
Oh, they're going to do that, yeah.
Isla Dawn versus Jade, Naomi, Bianca.
Which is
I don't know if it'll be on Berlin. It could be.
I would, if Nia's working Berlin, I would recommend doing another Bailey match rather than that triple threat match. To be honest,
Hold on.
Blair, I don't think Blair needs to be working a pay per view at this point in her run. Respectfully.
Well, yeah, Nia. Who else can Nia Jax face though?
I mean, let's be honest, Monty. We're just stalling for the big Charlotte Flair show.
Yeah, of course. I think they could do something for her because Tiffany keeps having these run-ins backstage with Chelsea Green. And it's Nia and Tiff, Chelsea Green and Piper. It's Piper versus Nia could be. I'd be interested. I'd be into that, bro. I'd be fascinated by seeing how they put that together.
Yeah, it's a good idea. Yeah, there's some stuff there. I mean, it's going to be very story heavy with the Tiffany stuff, right? Which is fun.
Yeah,
that's fun.
Yeah, of course. And who else is there? Rome. Yeah, what's Roman going to be doing? I don't know if Roman will be on Berlin, to be honest.
No. No, I don't think so.
I think the Street Profits are going to get that number one contenders.
Probably, yeah.
Going to become number one contenders, so they might do that in Berlin.
Dude, they got that SmackDown Tag Division. Got to do something. Sorry to say. Emergency stations for me. I couldn't do it anymore last night. Hit the wall. Just had enough. I don't even know why. It wasn't even bad. I was watching that DIY.
It actually wasn't even a bad match. That's
But I was watching.
You saw A-Town Down come out and you was like, "Fuck this, man."
I just can't do it, man. I I just don't find any like the A-Town Down Under are one of those two. Like they're like a good enough team and they bump I just don't have any interest in watching them wrestle. Like, like I can talk myself into it in this setting. I'm doing a show and be like, oh, they're a good bumping heel team. But like, do I actually ever want to? No, not really. And then, Pretty Deadly, I actually want to like Pretty Deadly because they have like a gimmick which pops me. I like gimmicks, like I've already decided I like MXM just because they have a gimmick. I'm happy to go along with these things, but I don't know, man. We need some help. This Team SmackDown needs some help on the tag side, I think.
Yeah. But yeah, then I don't know, man. We need to get Ilya versus Braun Breaker on Berlin, bro.
Yeah.
Kaiser, I would do in a match. See, they could have. I don't know, man. You gotta get Kaiser on the card as well, I think, because I think he's so good.
Kaiser should be on there. Maybe you do Braun, Dragunov, Kaiser.
Yeah. I mean, I'd accept that, and I hate triple threats.
Yeah, that one makes sense, right?
But yeah, man, we'll see where they go with the card, man. Just process fight for $4.99. Roman was a piece of shit scumbag for 3+ years, then vanished for 3 months, and now suddenly is the biggest face in the industry, all without an apology. How motherfucking beast. Hey, man. When you've got the power, like Roman has, bro, it's get away with these things. It's pro wrestling,
It's great, dude. It's gonna be the fuel for Kevin's turn, isn't it? Like, he's gonna be so mad that this dude's been welcomed back. It's gonna be awesome.
Hangman-esque.
Yeah, man. Totally Hangman-esque.
Yeah, we didn't even touch on that really. It's like Kevin's like, I don't deserve the shot, and it's like the second he called this, he's like, wow, I was gonna go talk to Roman actually. He's like, well, hold on. Like, wait a minute.
Yeah, man, it's great.
He kind of blows up a bit, and yeah.
Well, I was glad because I love Roman as a performer, but that was one thing about his reign that actually did annoy me was that like they would get torn on the messaging they wanted to have in like he would cheat and they'd be mad at him, and then the next night he'd come out on TV and he'd be like, the greatest of all time has done it again. And it's like he cheated. He literally cheated, guys. Why is he? It was really strange the way they would do that. Like, do you remember that time when Triple H like gave him his new belt? It was like he cheats in every match, guys. He's a heel.
Yeah, exactly. And all the video packages and stuff, and he got 1,000 right. That 1,000 days package was like tremendous, but it's just like, as Joe said, like cheats to win every match, bro. Like in kayfabe, shouldn't like the Office hate him? Like,
dude, it's like imagine if in the NWO angle, Shivani. Every night, I was like, listen, folks, say what you will, he's the greatest of all time. You can't. Hogan, they were slamming their fist on the desk, dude. It was, but it'll work because the people just decided they like him and cheer him. So I guess, what do I know? God bless.
OTC. Yeah, the OTC. Stephanie Chase, much love. $10 Canadian. Joe, do you think Daniel Garcia should try his luck in NXT/WWE? And would you be willing to come in as his Arn Anderson?
Well, certainly. I'm a free agent. It's exactly the kind of thing I'm looking for, really. I appreciate it. Good idea, Steph. I think they should follow up on that. Now, do I think I'm really torn on the Daniel Garcia situation? It's like the reason I think it's hard to assess is I think NXT is like kind of a great situation for him. But I'm really unsure on the main roster. Really unsure. Look, the situation with NXT, I mean, I've spoken about this elsewhere, but like the reality is there's a lot of vacancies over there. Sean Spears is on TV a lot. There are a lot of guys who are brand new. They need TV-ready, polished pro wrestlers. Daniel Garcia is not only that, but he's young. I think he would connect with that audience. And I also think it would be good for him because while I think he's a bit of a prodigy in terms of his skill set, dude, it's still great to sit under learn Trevor Finley, right? And I think there's a lot to learn there still.
He seems to be like a sponge as well, like whenever people talk about him.
Yeah. So that's a great fit. The problem is that's a fit to set him up for a main roster run that I'm not so sure is a great fit. So it's like very, very difficult. And it's also what's hard about with NXT is you don't know when a guy is going to get called up. For all we know, he could make that leap, get called up in 18 months, and two of the top guys could be injured, and suddenly he's rolling. You never know, right? So he might get in rhythm, or he could have one of those call-ups where he kind of just sits and watches from the outside looking in a long time. That happens sometimes, right? Guys struggle to get in the rotation. Stylistically, I think he is a better fit in AEW if all things were equal. But that doesn't necessarily mean that's the right place for him to be. I mean, it's really, really difficult, as you can tell. I go in both. Every time I talk about it, I'm kind of like leaning one way or the other, whatever happens, dude, I hope he makes a decision that he's like personally happy with, because that's what matters, really, right? What we think is like, fine. Who gives a shit? He's a young guy, and he's a young dude who, when he goes and clocks in to be a pro wrestler, he should be excited and fired up about it. That's the main thing to me. It's like, I want him to be fired up and ready for this next chapter. He's so talented, so much to offer. I'm excited for him, and hopefully he's happy with whatever decision he makes.
I kind of feel for him a bit.
It's tough.
Because he's actually I think he's got such a tough decision to make. And I know like a lot of people will probably kick the shit out of me in the live chat from when I've said I think he should just go to NXT and do it. It's because I don't know, it's such a gamble either way, because you just laid it out pretty well. Like, I think he's very well suited to have such a great run in NXT, like very kind of like Carmelo Hayes-esque, and he'll come up to the main roster with some good momentum and steam, you would assume, but it's just kind of like, how will he, adapt to kind of like the main roster, the way that things go there, and I guess swimming with the sharks, but like in a different ocean compared to AEW, where he's probably like stylistically, like in terms of his style and stuff, like in-ring style and all those things. So he probably does suit AEW more, but it's just kind of the infrastructure there is just so kind of you don't know. It's like Garcia's probably been promised things in the past, when he's been getting these mini pushes that he's been told, and like he needs to kind of figure out, is this, when I come back and I work MJF, is this just going to be another one of those pushes that I have, but then ultimately doesn't actually like make me a main player in AEW, and I'm miserable again 1 year from now? Or do I go to WWE, have my great NXT run, which I think pretty much everyone would assume you would have, and then kind of take that gamble on myself on the main roster? Like, I think it's a very, very tough, such a tough decision for him to make, and I genuinely understand either option that he chose. Like, if he does choose to stick with AEW and put his trust in whatever Tony and Co have promised him to make him sign the deal, then I couldn't blame him for that, because making the jump to WWE, it's a gamble, you know what I mean?
He is for sure, and
if he
he's
wants
in
to
a good
stick with
spot.
what he knows, it's
exactly that. And I think, gun to my head, I would lean that way. And I think there is a lot of reason to be hopeful about what he can do if he does go back to AEW TV, right? Like we talked about, I do think, and maybe it's just naivety, but I do think there was some really positive signs before he did the write-off angle. I thought it did seem like they were trending in the right direction, but until it happens, we don't know. Very, very, very difficult. But the honest truth is that, it isn't the sexiest answer for a podcast, but the reality is, like, so much goes into this beyond the on-screen, right? In terms of like any wrestler, when they're looking at these things, there are a bunch of elements that are much more comparable to just, a job situation, right? Where do you want to work? Who do you want to work with? These are all factors, and they don't really translate to you and I who are just assessing it from like a depth chart point of view, right? But it's real, man. Like that's a real thing. It plays into all of these deals. So it's always hard to speak on, but I hope whatever he does, he's fired up about it.
Yeah, I think I mean, I don't know, man. I tend to lean the other way. I think I'm digging my heels in on that day.
NXT,
yeah, because it's, I don't know, man. It's like, what do you think has a better chance of happening, bro? Like, and I think the one, I'll get to it, but there's a thing that I think actually sways it one way that we haven't touched on properly. it's like obviously he'll have a strong run in NXT, whether that's for like a year or however long it is, 18 months or whatever. But it's like going up to WWE main roster and him maybe not being a success, then like, do you think there's a better chance of him getting over in WWE and kind of just like making it happen on the main roster, or Tony Khan kind of shows things that we've not ever seen from him in the 5 years that he's been booking the wrestling promotion? Do you know what I mean? Like,
I understand what your point being that you don't have a great deal of faith in Tony elevating a guy, basically, right?
I just don't think he'll change much. Do you know what I mean? I think Tony.
Sure.
We know what Tony does. Do you know what I mean? And
but there's a safety net there too, right? Like him doing more of the same, while it may be frustrating, there is a flaw to that. Like Daniel is used, and he is like a guy in the. There's a chance the WWE thing doesn't work. Oh, that's just the reality. That's not a reflection of him. I do think with his style that it's a slightly bigger chance. There have been some really talented guys that have gone to WWE and it hasn't worked out. And I don't think that's an indictment of anything other than just that's wrestling. In AEW, his flaw is like what he's doing now, which is like popular mid-card babyface, So it's very difficult.
So like, this is the thing that sways it for me, like ultimately sways it for me. All of WWE's top guys are only getting older, bro. They haven't really got like young blood up there. So in 18 months' time, I think the main roster that Daniel Garcia goes up to, if he does make the jump, I think it looks a lot different, bro. Like all these guys are aging, man. Like even like your Sammy and your Kevs, then like Cody, Roman, these guys are like basically 40 now. It's like they need the Bron Breakers, the Ilya Dragunovs, the Carmelo Hayes, and potentially a Daniel Garcia. Like they need these guys coming. They need these guys coming through, bro. Your Obafemi's got to get him in there.
For sure.
They need their croppers. Like if you look at AEW, it's kind of there is obviously that risk of like 3 years from now he's in the exact same spot that he's been in right now. But it's like they've kind of they've got their like Ospreys and Swerves and stuff. So even though it sounds a lot more daunting going to the main roster, I think kind of like in a couple of years' time, it's like I think the dynamic on their roster will change a lot, which will open up opportunities for people like Garcias and people who are in like their, in their like mid-20s, mid to late 20s, who are really like capable, good wrestlers like your Garcias, your Ilias, your Bron Breakers, your Tiffany Strattons, those sort of people.
Look, let's be honest. The real X factor here is his understanding of what the important people at WWE think of him, right? We're being real. Because he'll know. Everyone knows, and he's worked obviously with someone who's very high up in WWE now, who was a pretty big proponent of his when he was in AEW and Regal. Now, they're huge factors, dude. Like we're looking at this blind. If he has a confidence in Regal's view of him, I don't think I'm breaking any news to say Regal's view on guys is going to pretty often be very similar to Triple H's view, because I don't think there's any voice in wrestling he trusts more than Regal's. So that's a big plus, right? And from what you're arguing, that's a huge plus. I think there is the hardest thing to guess with this, and this is what makes wrestling exciting, is that element we've talked about. We think he'll go over the NXT crowd, but we think, right? We know he's over with the AEW crowd. And that's the gamble with wrestling. It's the same with the Lucha Bros. Like, bro, dude, the Lucha Bros.
I'd be so confident. I can't say I know he would be over in NXT because I'm not a psychic. You know what I mean? But
he's got a really good shot.
It's as close to saying that as I can possibly be. Like,
and to be fair to Daniel, he can talk. So it's not like he's like some,
he's great.
Yeah, he can talk, and I think. I don't know. Thank God we're his manager.
But Ethan Page is like quite over in that PC, bro. It's I actually like Ethan Page. I think like when people were doing like Ethan Page bad when he was leaving AEW and stuff, I thought he was kind of harsh. Because I've always thought he's been a pretty decent performer, pretty decent talker, pretty well rounded and stuff. But it's not like I think Garcia is like a genuinely like special talent, you know,
Yeah.
and I think he has more appeal to like that younger, more hip NXT audience than someone like Ethan Page does. To be honest, it's why people like Javon Evans and Trick Williams just get over like that because it's
He
just
would get over NXT. You're right. I
exactly
guess
so.
the bigger question is how it would translate once he goes up, right? But that's like fuck, who
That's
knows?
that's
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 years
what I
away.
mean. So I guess
Yeah.
like in short, these options are take the gamble now and having faith in like what Tony Khan's got planned for you, and that's like your immediate gamble, or you go to NXT and you become basically like the fucking face of the CW network NXT, like Carmelo Hayes, like Trick Williams has been, like Bron Breakker has been, etc. Because I think he would do that well in NXT, and then your gamble comes in like 2 years' time. You know, when it's like, all right, it's main roster time. You know, what does the roster look like on main roster, and how do I feel about going up to main roster, and how will I succeed there? So it's a gamble now or a gamble later, even though the gamble seems like
Dude,
WWE would be the bigger gamble.
this situation would kick the shit out of me. I wouldn't sleep at night. I'd just be sweating bullets about my
That's what I said. That's
impending
what I said, bro.
decision.
Like I kind of feel sorry for him in a way. Like it's like it's a tough choice for him, man. I don't
Yeah.
know. Like
You like changed my mind like twice.
it's just I
There
don't
we go.
know, bro. Like I don't even do like the Tony Khan sucks and stuff like that. But it's just kind of like that. Does if I'm Garcia, bro, and I'm lying in bed at night, like you just said, and I'm thinking, do I trust Tony Khan
Mm.
to get shit popping off of me right now? You know, it's like
This shit's
that's
giving me
scary,
anxiety,
bro.
bro. It's giving me anxiety just sitting here talking about it.
Anyway, I'm sure we'll probably have to chat say a few things about our DG talk. Scott 2079, Vinci came out of hiding finally. Came out of hiding finally. Yeah, man. Giovanni Vinci's on his way back.
It's good,
Good
dude.
work, man. Good work.
SmackDown needs him, man. They need him.
Yeah, talk. You just said about the tag division. You know,
Yeah.
really,
He just
he's
can
good.
go. He can
Can
straight up
go.
go. Yeah.
Who'd you like to see him tag with if they do throw him in a tag team?
I was gonna say Corbin, but he's catered for.
That's such a mad tag team.
Can you imagine, like
Corbin loves
Corbin?
these little weird combinations. It's been like that for ages though. Like, even when he was a heel, that everyone hated, like they would just throw him with people. You know, like he worked loads of trios with like Drew and Dolph. You know, like
Yes, he did. Vinci. There's not really any good mid card guys, so I don't know. I don't know how
Vinci
to
and
put him.
Mello. I don't like that.
No, Melo's. I honestly, Melo's doing it okay for himself as a
He
singles.
is. He is. Vinci
It's
and Knight.
hard
I
though.
don't like that.
The SmackDown roster is really challenging for Melo because it's like there's no mid card and they're all these like big time main event stars. It's just hard. He's finding his way.
Maybe he should. Yeah, maybe for reasons like that, Vinci should just be a singles.
Be a
You know.
singles for a bit.
Yeah, just so
Work
just
Andrade.
Mark Andrade, Mello. You know, pad out some shows with I don't know Santos match or whatever the
What
fuck.
if he's
You know?
the third good brother? Gallows can stand at ringside and watch him grapple.
Anyway, John 10, £2, appreciate you. Cody was carrying Rome's bags at the airport. That's very spiteful. Very, very spiteful. They're kicking the shit out of poor
They
Code
are.
man at the minute, you know.
They are.
This was lovely. Masfan84, 199. Joe, did you watch Darby versus Butcher's rematch?
I didn't. I intended to, as Monty knows. I was. I just started it, and then someone called me a fat fuck on Twitter, and I did a quote tweet, and then it like sort of distracted me because I was popping myself on Twitter. I said that I was like SmackDown's fine, and someone was like, "You should lose some weight, you fat fuck," and I it was so funny to me because the tweet was so well worded, and like it ended with like it kicked the shit out of me, and then it was like, "I don't mean to be, I don't intend to be mean." It popped me so much that I just thought I was doing some other things, and I'm gonna watch it today though.
It was good,
Yeah,
man. Darby's
it's fucking awesome.
he's one of the very, very, very best in AEW and
Yes,
in the world, really. His ability to like build matches through his selling is like kind of unmatched. You know.
Oh yeah, he's one of one, dude. He's one of the best TV guys. I honestly think he's one of the best TV guys like ever at this point already. Like because now he has 5 years, dude. He's their best TV wrestler. He can you could plug anyone into. I could probably wrestle Darby and get a 2.5. You know, well maybe not.
Yeah, man. Hit him with a tsunami. You know?
There you go. There you go.
But yeah, Darby Butcher. If anyone else that didn't quite catch it, I'd recommend it, man. It sucked me into a Rampage. I ended up watching like 3/4 of Rampage yesterday. Darren Walker, £5. Tag Team Wrestling in America is rubbish in 2024. However, here comes Tama Tonga and Tanga Loa to save us. Your Wrestle Purist Tag Team of the Year. I'll slow down there, mate.
Mate. I saw Tanga. I didn't see the promo where he held the belt up in the air. So when I saw the Roman thing, I was thinking like, good for Tanga. Like nothing happened there. It went without incident. You know, and he got through it. And then I went online and I saw that video of him. And I don't know what's going on there, dude. Like, God bless him. I hope he's
His
okay.
confidence must be completely shot, bro.
That's the
you
thing.
Know, when you just like you second guess yourself everything you do. Like...
he seems like such a good guy. So I actually genuinely feel like, I mean, obviously, like he's a professional, but good God, I've never seen someone just everything seems to go wrong. The thing at the pay-per-view where he run Cody and like missed the corner of the ring, I couldn't believe what I was seeing, dude.
It's worse now because people are actively like looking for him,
and he knows. I feel like he knows too. It's because it's just. I bet he's just so scared of
in his own
stuff
head, you know.
Yeah.
Oh,
hopefully
man.
he gets through it. Bless him. You know, not to say that he was ever like on Anderson, but you got to admit it has been a bit ridiculous. He's messing up everything, dude.
Oh man. David Camp, why not? Though? Shout out to AEW's much improved women's division. Yeah, man.
Sure.
Big fan of these things. Oh, Joe, since we're just hanging out, what did you see, Camille?
Yeah.
You see the handicap match you had, mate?
I did.
I'm a little concerned.
What?
Just it's a big spot for her to be in, bro. You know?
Bro, I'm gonna be honest with you. I watched it with respect after the post-match angle. I don't remember anything from it. I had to wipe my brain. Fuck, man, that was a bad segment. With all due respect. Good God.
Yeah, it's
That was a rough day.
I came out of the segment thinking like Camille, I don't know, but I guess good for her, sort of thing. It's big, like I said, it's a big spot. She's got good luck and stuff, you know. So if you wanted a monster with Mercedes, I said it on the Thursday show because I had to replace AO last minute. Nyla Rose, man, could have had Nyla Rose right there, and obviously, like I said, coming out of it. Kind of worried about Camille and the Mone Corporation. They need a mouthpiece, bro. They need one.
Well, I mean,
simple as they need one.
Nyla would she could talk some, right? So that would help if she was in that role. Yeah, I don't know. It's the Brit Mercedes thing. I thought actually got off to a really encouraging start, and then obviously things happened that we wouldn't have to get into necessarily. But yeah, this week's segment was on because it was one of Mercedes. I think it was her. Probably her shakiest promo since turning heel. And the people weren't with it. And then they did that weird setup where they were like, her suspension's over. Here she is by satellite. And it's like, why would the people cheer that, right? And then Britt was kind of, I don't know, man. Just a weird segment, I thought. Really strange segment, yeah.
Yeah. Because when they're in the ring together, it feels big, bro.
I agree.
I agree. I love it.
And Mercedes is so much better when she has someone to actually go back and forth with.
No, yeah, 100%.
Because then it becomes shit talk, right? Then it's like, okay, you can do something there, but I think it's a flattering presentation when she's doing like monologuing. I just don't think it suits her at all.
You know, it drives me mad. I've said it to you before. I don't know if private on air and stuff, but it's like, you know, like we've got into this thing in wrestling now, WWE, AEW. I don't know how much about TNA and stuff, but like American wrestling TV, it's like they think like live promos aren't for fucking everybody, bro.
No, they're not.
You know what I mean? It's like not every big feud that you do has to have oh, this wrestler has to do a live promo this week. Like, we don't. It doesn't. If it's
Yeah.
not someone who's, like, I don't need Mercedes Moné like addressing the live crowd. Like, I don't need that. Like, it's not really
Yeah.
her bag, you know. And like you said, when she's got someone opposite her, and I said on Thursday, like, she really kind of like fed off that big time energy with Britt Baker in that face to face that they did, and it was good shit, bro. Like, I really liked it, but so that doesn't mean that we need to have like, just because you want to give Mercedes Moné like a big segment, because that's how it's seen, isn't it? Like a live promo, like that's for the big stars and stuff. It's like not all the big stars. It doesn't suit all of them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, especially when it's going to build to like a satellite reveal. It's just like, that's some of the things that I think they should, format wise, I think they should avoid stuff like that entirely. Like, it's just so phony, right? Like, oh, Tony Khan has just told me. I don't know. I think stuff like that should be like, I think they should actively strive to avoid stuff like that. I think it limits their ability to look different to the industry leader, I guess would be the way I phrase it. But yeah.
When they had CM Punk and they were doing like live promo segments, it's like, yeah, they all felt huge, and he's like, even now in WWE when he doesn't feel huge, it's like MJF, of course, he loves doing his like, because like these are things like they suit him, or like a Christian Cage, it suits them, but
yeah,
not everyone on the roster is like thrives in that like sort of segment,
Oh, for sure, yeah. I mean, hopefully they've got a couple of weeks here. Hopefully they can get back kind of, on course, this Brit Mercedes. Because again, I did like the start, and I do think there's a chance it has a lot of heat at Wembley, right? Like, a placement will be important because it's going to be a long show.
Yeah, Mercedes Brit should be
it should have a lot of heat, really.
It's a big match, man.
And let's be honest, if Britt's going to have a good match on pay-per-view at this point, this is one of her best opponents to do so, you'd imagine, right? If they go really brawl heavy and violent, I think the match could actually be like kind of beast. If they have like a
100%, because Mercedes will have great ideas because
she's nuts.
And
she's nuts.
Britt Baker, say what you want about her in ring, technically looking like she wrestles in slow motion from time to time. She's game as fuck, bro.
Super game, tough. Yeah.
She's game as fuck.
If they go brawl, I think it could be a hoot. If they do like sequence heavy stuff, I'm not so sure. Be interesting though. Let's be honest, dude. I don't think I'm being dramatic or overstaying. So I think both grapplers would, they'd benefit a lot from having a really great match. Right? It'd be awesome. Like, I think for Britt it would be huge. Britt having a really good match at Wembley would be huge for her. To be honest, because I think she needs that actually.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So yeah, in short though, like the super chat says, shout out AEW's much improved.
It actually has improved a lot for real.
Yeah, it has, man. Big fan. Obviously, Tony and Mariah's like kind of like spearheading it, which is like super impressive when it's Britt Baker and Mercedes, like the other feud, Because I think it's fair to say that I think that's like they're kind of like I said, that's spearheading like this big movement in the this big improvement in the women's division. So yeah, it's a very big compliment to AEW that they're doing Mercedes versus Britt Baker, and it's not actually even their biggest feud, and it's not even because like anything's bad. It's just because Mariah and Tony's been so just effective. It's really good.
Sure.
Short-Time Spurs, $20. Much love, brother, as always. Anna Jay pinned former World of Stardom champ, Anou, in an upset the likes of which has not been seen since Buster Douglas knocked out Iron Mike Tyson in the Tokyo Dome in 1992. Anna Jania is running wild. It did pop me to see her win her first match. I saw it. I think Jamie tweeted it on the WrestleMania Twitter, but yeah, man, Anna Jay. It popped me to see her announced for the 5-star, and yeah, hopefully she comes back better than ever.
Oh shoot, I was thrilled. I saw a press conference thing where she was talking about like being excited to be there and getting better and learning. It just popped me. Do you remember that stretch where everyone was like really mad at Anna Jay because she didn't like fly herself out to Japan? She doesn't want it bad enough. It's like the first opportunity she got to actually go work there, she went. Bless her. I remember there was a while there when she was having some unfortunate matches and people were like, she hasn't got it. She doesn't want it. She doesn't want to go and work the indies. Bless her heart.
Yeah,
She's. I
crazy.
mean, Stardom's gonna be a great
spiteful stuff.
experience. Yeah, because she didn't work like fucking Revolver on a Saturday. You know. Dude. I was happy to see that, and I'm told the match was like pretty good. It was very short, from my understanding, but she only landed the day on show day, so. Good for her, man. Hopefully she comes. Yeah, hopefully that's tough, dude. When Arn Anderson did that, he had one of the shittiest matches ever. So she beat Arn. Shout out to her. He also was. He'd also been drinking the whole time, so you know.
Ray Garrian, $2. Give Unk Mort a job. Did you see his little thread yesterday, Joe?
Unk Mort?
Ricky Morton, I think it's all about.
Oh no, I didn't see it.
All right, so we did a tweet, and it's like it's him, and he's looking all dapper in a suit, and it's like, there's Ricky Morton, you know. And I've got it in front of me actually. It says, "Wrestling is all I've ever known. It's been my life, my passion, and my purpose for as long as I can remember. I've given everything to this business, and in return, it's given me a lifetime of memories, friendships, and opportunities that I'll cherish forever. But now I'm at a point where I want to give back in a different way. I want to help the next generation of tag teams grow and become the foundation of this industry. I know what I bring to the table, decades of experience, a deep understanding of what it takes to make it. I'm not just asking for a chance, I'm ready to take it. I want the opportunity to pass on everything I've learned, to help guide and mentor the young talent coming up, and to ensure that the legacy of tag team wrestling continues to thrive. This business has given me so much. I want to give something back. All I need is the opportunity to do it."
Wow. Well, look, I don't know Ricky Morton personally, obviously, but if I was a booker, if I was a booker, I'd be very, very excited about that possibility, because my understanding of Ricky Morton is that he is very open-minded to the modern evolution of wrestling, but he could still offer a lot in terms of the timeless elements. I don't think he's trying to come in and be like Rip Rogers and talk about back in my day. I think he would be a great wrestler. You know? Because that's a real thing. Like, dude, look, if you were going to train to be a wrestler, you could go to Rip Rogers and learn a lot. But Rip Rogers couldn't be an agent for like AEW, because he would, you know, it would be very bad for a range of reasons that we don't have to get into. But Ricky Morton has always sounded like someone who's like super open-minded about the business. I think he'd be a huge asset for even. I mean, I know he's done some guest spots at the Performance Center, especially with the state of tag wrestling right now.
Yeah,
dude, absolutely. Yeah. Hopefully, he gets a gig, man.
I think he definitely should. And if he's going to like fly around the country and agent, and do you know what I mean, do all these things, or I don't know, or full-time coach role at the PC or whatever, then like he outlined better than I ever could. He's more than qualified to do that job, man. How old is Ricky Morton, man? He's pushing up.
He's got to be getting up there.
He's up there. Ricky.
Bless him.
Ricky Morton, young Ricky Morton. I'm just looking at a picture of him now. Oh man, they grow up so fast, Joe.
Sure do.
He's 67.
Does he still grapple? Does he still wrestle at all?
I think he does.
Yeah,
I think he does. He is a sicko like that, isn't
he? Yeah.
Ricky Morton matches on cage matches. Yeah, his last match was 5 days ago.
Did you ever see? God. Oh, didn't do work.
Ricky Morton and Tommy Rich defeat America's Most Wanted, Chris Harris and James Storm.
What the fuck? Dude, if you had a time machine, that match would be unbelievable. Wow. Might still be good. I don't know. Their match, I don't know if you ever saw their match. Did you ever see the Rock and Rolls match with FTR a couple of years ago? Bro.
Sorry, I'm still got this cage match up.
That's fine.
He's wrestled twice this month, bro. He's wrestling he wrestles more than the Young Bucks. It's crazy.
Oh, come on.
Someone in the chat said paying his dues.
That's actually making towns right there.
Oh,
I don't know if you remember, but in the 2010s, there was like an effort made. You remember when they brought Starrcade back as like a house show, or whatever it was? There was an effort to do the Rock and Roll Express versus the Good Brothers on WWE Starrcade. It was like a real thing that they tried to make happen. It did not quite get over the line. A real shame. Can you imagine that on the network?
It would have been beautiful.
It would have been
We'd
terrible.
still be talking about it now.
It would have been the safest 1 3/4 ever. God bless.
All right, a bit of trivia for you and the live chat.
All right.
How many matches do you think Ricky Morton has wrestled in this year?
God, bro.
In 2024.
This year?
This year, in 2024.
He's had 2 this month. Fucking hell. I'm gonna say 20.
20? What's the chat saying?
Get the numbers in the chat. Numbers in the chat regarding the
15,
counter match.
16, 24. See, people know, bro. People know. He's a grafter. 18, 12. That's a little low. 22, 20, 16. He's wrestled 17 matches this year.
What a beast. Dude, that is like actually probably more matches than the Bucks, right? That's more matches than a lot of guys under
Yeah,
contract.
that's more matches than most guys, to be honest. He started his... Bro, this can't... He started his year off with a War Games match. Billy Brash, George South, Kerry Morton, Ricky Morton, the Beer City Bruiser versus Team Anderson. It was Team South versus Team Anderson. Brock Anderson, CW Anderson, Martin Stone, Terrell Hughes, and Terrence Hughes.
Hold up, Brock Anderson, Martin Stone. We get some minutes out of that, bro. Let's get
mean, bald man. You know, we need to shave Brock. You know,
we could do something with that.
Wow, yeah, man. Ricky Morton's still making them towns, bro.
That's unbelievable.
All over the place: Ohio, North Carolina, West Virginia, Tennessee. Bro, he's in Philadelphia.
Rock and roll never die,
Kentucky. Yes. Yeah, man.
That's awesome.
So yeah, let's get him in AEW or WWE. He's got so much to offer.
Let's do it.
Aaron Blim, $4.99. Appreciate it. Is the Judgment Day the hottest thing in the business currently? I thought the 2 segments on Raw were excellent. I mean, Roman Reigns is
Roman.
Our tribal chief. There, he's definitely up there.
The Liv Rhea stuff is over huge, dude. I'm not a Google Trends man, but did you see that?
That's the main thing, isn't it? It's like the Liv Rhea dumb thing, not so much just even though the Judgment Day is hot at the moment because like the Priest Finn stuff as well is like it's hot, but I wouldn't say like all together. Do you know what I mean? Like because I do think there is levels to it. Like the Liv Dom Ripley stuff is just
it's actually crossed over. That stuff's actually like people are aware of that outside of the wrestling bubble, which is honestly kind of frightening. But it's happening, so yeah.
Right again to Euros. Yoya works like 04 Randy Wood had he been in nude. Do you think
04 Randy?
You seen any of Yoya in the G1?
No, I pretend sometimes though because I kind of
see enough. Clips.
I like
a couple of arm drakes.
I'm on board with his message. You know what he stands for. So I consider myself a fan. I don't really watch any of his matches, but I'm a fan. 04 Randy Orton was like... I mean, he used to bump like a madman. He quickly realized that was unnecessary. Rein that in real quick, but yeah. 04 Randy was spectacular.
KO 50 pesos. I agree with the quote, top men getting older, but I think the crop of women's talent that is being raised at the moment down there is game changing. FOTC, what's that, Joe? Future FOTC.
Face of the company.
Face of the companies.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
The NXT women. NXT women are pretty awesome, to be honest.
They are. It pops me a lot. And sometimes I'll like throw together like random tag matches that are just like agented like pretty well, and you know it's obviously everyone already knows as well like, what the NXT audience is like in those in the PC. So they're very happy to go along with just like popping for people and stuff. And you see people feed off it, bro. It's like Jada Parker becoming like more like better and better and better every week. Like it's not a surprise with kind of like the way she is. She just feeds off the crowd, and she's just like she's actually kind of physical. And yeah, she's just like you just see their confidence grow and grow and grow. Sol Ruka's another one. Kalani Jordan's another one. Jesus Christ. Wow. Lola Voice looks like she's having the greatest time anyone's ever had whilst wrestling, you know? So,
yeah, some of those baby faces. Some of those baby faces are going to definitely get over on the main roster, I think. Like, because they have like a clear identity and shtick, and that's a big part of it, dude. You don't want to be, when you get called up, you don't want to be someone who could be mistaken for someone else. And the NXT baby faces in the women's division are like cartoon characters in that regard. They all have like a clear gimmick, right? Like that trios match recently, it was honestly like some old school WWF shit. It was Lola, Sol Ruka, and Petrovic. Yeah. And they're all like caricatures, right? Like it's fucking awesome. And the heel was a bump. It was a good match, but yeah, the women are the highlight on NXT. I think Ethan's doing a good job, but like, you know, he's Ethan Page. You know what he does, so that's fine.
Yeah, that Roxanne Perez Thea Hale match was bloody lovely.
Wow, dude, that was wild. Thea, I think, is a real player. I think she has natural TV charisma.
Yeah,
I really think she's going to be something. She's also super young, but Roxanne is like, I mean, we already know.
Outrageous, isn't it? She's
getting better and better, right? Like she kind of for a minute stalled. And then this heel turn, it's just tremendous stuff. It really, really is. I'm so excited to watch her just become what she's going to. She's going to become a superstar, man.
So people pop from as well, man. Like the people who watch the shows, like the Ringmaster, JC Jane.
Yeah, well, JC Jane was
JC the Ring General.
She's now JHP official. I gave her the license.
Oh, I think I saw. Yeah, I think I saw you talking about it. She's good, man.
She just works hard, isn't it? It's like she's one of those wrestlers I think will just find a spot for herself just because she just hustles. So she's always going, trying, and doing different stuff. And she's not like a super smooth worker or anything, but she goes for it. She has fun with her gimmick and her character. She puts effort into her look and stuff. So, like all of that adds up, man. I think she's useful around all those young baby faces, right? She has a little bit more experience. Fallon Henley is one that I'm kind of like, I can't figure out if there's something there or not, you know?
I think there's definitely she's pretty good, man. And she's developed pretty well in NXT. It's just I think they actually need to really go over. I think when she turned heel, they should have like put her in the title picture.
Pushed up,
you know? Because like she's been in NXT long enough to where like it warrants that. And I know that's kind of been like that's been like what her narrative has been as like a heel as well. Like, you know, I've been in NXT and all these new girls are coming in and like she's just being spiteful and shit, you know. But yeah, I do think that she's someone that they need to like get going with because I think she's up to it. I think she is up to it. So
I think her heel presentation is sick. Like the edges, the big jacket, big coat. It looks cool, man. Like I think it's just I sometimes watch her matches and I'm like I change my mind a lot on whether she's there, like whether she's a real prospect or not. But she's in the right place to find it, right? Ultimately, I haven't seen much of JC's partner. I forget her name. I apologize. The third woman in that group. Jasmine Nix.
No one's seen much of her, to be honest. She hasn't wrestled that much, you know. But yeah, she's what's the politically correct way of saying it? She has a great look.
Good look.
Yeah.
Everyone in NXT has a good look, dude. Men, the women, everyone does.
A lot of good looks, you know.
Just good looks everywhere.
All right, and jumping into $2. My Oleg stocks are paying off big time in this year one. Yeah, man, another super chat said that earlier as well, like something similar. But yeah, man, Oleg getting a lot of hype. Adrian PN $2. Cody's not flinching is even more hilarious now. Bro, you gotta give it time, man. It's like Cody, of course, like, as soon as Roman comes back, and I think it was like cool to ask him, like, you know, how you feeling about like Roman coming back and stuff, and he's like, yo, I'm not flinching. Like, obviously, it's gonna go the way it's gonna go in the short term, and in the sense of like Roman is the man now, like because he's just came back. We want to see what he's gonna be doing. He's our original tribal chief. We're all throwing the ones up. He's a baby face. He's fresh now, and obviously. Like last night, the Roman thing is the big talking point rather than the Cody thing. But it's like bro, Cody's still so insanely over, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't think we should like lose sight of that. You know, when you see, I know a lot of it is just kind of like Roman stands or even people fucking around, but it's like when people have these like debates about Cody Rhodes' reign, I'm like, what are you talking about, bro? He's having good matches on pay-per-view. And he's still insanely over in ways that we're not really used to seeing babyfaces be over in WWE, you know. So yeah, like I think he's doing just fine, man. I think he's doing just
He's
fine.
about to work
Obviously,
with Kevin too. Dude, him and Kevin are going to do great stuff together.
yeah,
Great stuff. So,
they're gonna
I
create some
mean,
nice music, you know.
that's the thing with Roman. It's like I'm excited for him to be a babyface, but you know we got to be honest. It's not the guys we expect him to be working with over this next couple months. I don't think he's going to be having classics necessarily. So that might, you know, we'll see how it balances out. Cody might have a match of the year with Kevin Owens. You don't know, right? Like, fuck.
Yeah, literally. Yeah,
Kevin Owens, dude.
what did they? Dave gave one of those AJ matches 5, didn't they? So
I'm sure he did. He did, yeah.
yeah, I think it was the France one.
It was, yeah, it was. I mean, I love that match too. It was great.
Yeah, it was great. I love both the matches. But yeah, man, Cody's still doing. I think he's doing even better than I thought he would be doing at this point. To be honest, I'm not gonna
I've
lie.
liked his reign. Yeah, I've liked his reign. I mean, the weakest stuff was with Solo, and that's not, you know,
and that's not
that wasn't.
like,
It wasn't even about him, really.
when I
Was it?
say
It was
like
just,
better than expected, like, it's not even so much the matches or anything. It's more so like he's still just.
the
They're
crowd
still
haven't
just
turned.
like the crowd hasn't quite down one bit. They're still just fully just believing him as their like guy, you know. And it's cool to see, and it because it's like the fans spent so many years like fighting the people who were presented to them as the guy, whereas this is one that they've really took to and they really love, and it's just like it feels natural. But yeah, obviously Roman is thing as well, the big part of it as well. It's like obviously I think it's probably in most people's best interest, except for like the big Roman stands. That like Cody is the one that comes out of this as like the guy in a long time, because it's like he's gonna be around longer than Roman. Like Roman's already part-time, bro. Like Cody's here every week, so the fact that he's here every week and still getting as over it, still is as over as he is like very much a big testament to like.
I agree.
How successful he's been as a babyface.
You know, he's going to close the year with Kevin Owens and Randy Orton stuff, I think. So he's going to be fine. I'm not really worried about
that Randy stuff.
Rhodes.
Seems like you know, Randy's going to be doing some side missions till Mania. You know, so
that Gunter match, brother, locked in.
Oh, bro, I'm so happy.
Yeah,
I'm so, you know, and it just really makes you just. Man,
cannot wait for that
news, man. Especially because like,
oh my god, it's gonna be great.
The King of the Ring match as well, like it lived up to, even could argue exceeded any expectations I had for it. And now knowing that they can just, you know, they can just play some music, brother. You know, like,
yeah, I can't wait for that. That's the match I most want to see right now. To be honest, I loved their first match so much, and it had that finish, but that finish ended up being a blessing because now we get this. So I can't wait.
Someone in the chat says, so what is the run to WrestleMania match? I think it's Cody all day, bro. I think it could be Cody. I think they'll do Dwayne Raw. I know that Dwayne Cody's obviously teased the day after Mania and stuff, but I don't know. I could see Randy. I don't know, Randy winning the Rumble or some shit. Heel, really bro. Hard. This last heel run of Randy, if they do it, which I think they will, could be like. He could touch my soul, Joe. Like he could do some things to me.
I still think it's Cody Rock.
You think it's Cody Rock still?
But then who does? I think it'll be Cody Rock, and this is just gut feeling, pure guesswork.
You're still so far out, you know.
Exactly. Maybe
none of this is definite.
Who does Roman work then? Jacob, the Cult of Personality, CM Punk. I'm gonna be there either way, brother. I'm flying out for that shit. Mania in Vegas. Me and Contrarian Alex.
See, Jacob Roman, Cody Rock, or Roman Rock, Cody Randy. I think the latter sounds. I don't know, man.
My honest opinion is Dwayne's going to win that belt at WrestleMania next year. I'm actually quite convinced of it, and I think he'll then drop it to Roman. I'm almost certain this is happening. To be honest,
I don't think that.
Mate, did you see the way Dwayne looked at that belt after Mania? He's a lunatic,
sick,
bro. He's gonna win that belt.
Sick man. Yeah.
He's gonna win it. I'm almost certain. That'll be a thing. That'll be like one of those moments that sparks immense debate. I just don't.
I'll
I
pop
can't
for it. Final boss Dwayne.
because like
he's the rest of the year.
Yeah, like I feel like he's gonna want to get another title reign. Wow. Yeah, it'll be interesting. There's so many moving pieces with the star power. But the other thing is, all of these guys, like obviously injuries can happen to anyone, but a lot of the guys we're talking about here, anything like Dwayne could.
They're all over 40, aren't they?
Dwayne could tear anything at any given moment, right? God bless him. Hopefully he doesn't. Hopefully we get him back soon. Yeah. This is a hilarious group of top guys and a hilarious amount of egos at play. So we'll see.
Yeah, of course. And we all know CM Punk and Seth are going to want a main event tonight.
Punk wants the main event, yeah, and I know. But if Cena and Gunther's on the card, then
bro, this next Mania is going to be like, in theory, like stacked in terms of like star power big matches. Do you know what I mean? Like I know obviously Montel it's Mania, but like this card that we're just throwing together here is that's crazy. Bro, Seth Punk. What way should we go? Okay, for star power, let's do Rock, Roman, and Cody Randy.
Yeah.
What were the other ones?
It was Seth Punk,
Gunther, Cena.
And then we're not even talking about the women, like Rhea and Bianca.
Oh my god.
Rhea and Bianca's a massive match. That could be on there. Like, fuck, dude.
They need to get Bianca going, but like I said, there's still so much time. We're in fucking August. Like,
that's what I was saying. Alex is, whenever he does Mania, he only goes to one night. And I was saying, dude, you got to break your rule on that this year. I think this shit's going to be crazy. You can't miss a Dwayne match and only go to the Cena Gunther night, right? That's illegal.
You're right, though. You are right.
I'm right.
When you're right, And that's the Sultan, $2. Willow and Ishii should win the tag team titles from the Young Bucks. I'd have no complaints. Trust the process, 34, $4.99. Where does the TK / Elite angle rank in worst angles of the year? Wasted what had potential to become the greatest angle in AEW history. Booking malpractice. It's funny, isn't it? Because like now that we're quite a few months removed away from it, I guess obviously some people loved it, some people hated it, but I think in the conversations that I remember having with some of my friends that I'd class as like more kind of like level-headed, if that makes sense, would be like it's hard to like really judge it now because of like what is it going to lead to? Is Jack Perry going to be the next big thing? Is this EVP thing going to be like the fucking NWO? Do you know what I mean? Like, what is this going to lead to? And I think in hindsight now, it's like it didn't really lead to much, did it, in terms of like effectiveness? It's like, yeah, Jack Perry is a single sign. Yeah, he does hold the TNT title, but he's not moving any crazy merch or any crazy, like, he's not making like, he's not, you wouldn't say someone who's really hyped up and got loads of momentum in the industry right now. He's just not. The Young Bucks, obviously, we don't really see them wrestle or much at all at the moment. So like that's this weird thing that's going on. And it's just like Okada's just kind of like there, and it's like Tony, yeah, we all popped for the neck brace like the week after when he was on the NFL draft with it and shit in the war room. But it's like he came out to greet the fans like the week after that, and it was just, I don't know, man. I think in hindsight, it definitely was wasted. Like Trust the Process says, I don't know if you'd say it was the worst angle of the year. I'm not sure what the contenders for that are though.
Yeah, I don't know. It's worst, I don't know, but it's definitely among the more frustrating. In that it's like I remember they shot that angle and the big talking points, and I remember just being like, we'll see, and it's like, we saw, man, like, it's just, I don't know, you only get to play that card once. Tony Khan getting the shit kicked out of him. Like, the thing that's wild about it is the first month of it, they actually did try to do like the big angle thing. Remember when they were like closing every Dynamite with the Elite? And then whether Tony didn't like the numbers or he didn't like the actual content itself, he just threw the towel in on that shit, dude. Like post Double or Nothing, it became like just like an underneath angle on the show. You can't do power struggle stuff as underneath angle on the shows, man. It doesn't work that way. So, yeah, I don't know. I think I would, as a fan and as someone who thinks they've done some wonderful stuff and are truly one of the great teams, I would really like to feel like the Young Bucks are like inspired and excited about the stuff they're doing. They've had a couple flashes this year. The Sting match.
When the retiring Sting, like
they had the FTR ladder match, which was a shift, you got to say.
Yeah, they did show a lot of love for the game there.
At times, I don't know, man. I get it.
It's like when they've got a spark under them, it's like, yeah, they are
it's
tremendous.
So
but it's
great,
like,
dude.
bro,
It's
Sting's retirement. Like, of course, they had a spark for that. It's fucking Sting's retirement, you know. But,
yeah, I feel like they still have so much to offer. I mean,
do,
I'm not in
bro.
their shoes. Maybe they're more beat up than I realize. That might be, but like, fuck, man, I just feel like they have so much to offer, and it's just like
they are beat up.
Like for sure. But it just feels like they're kind of like
but
vacant.
even still, yeah, I was gonna say, even still with that, it's like that. I'm not saying they have to wrestle every week, but it would just feel like, you know, like at the start of AEW, bro, like I proper like bought into and believed and watched it play out when the Young Bucks were at that first press conference, and then they were like, we are going to make tag team wrestling the main event, and you could see them to put that grind in, bro. You know,
they
like
tried, yeah.
You could see it. Do you know what I mean? They were going all out in every big match they could have, and even on some of the Dynamite matches that had no right being as good as they should have been. You know,
yeah.
Whereas like now, it's like, yeah, they are a bit beat up, but it's just like, it's not so much like, if they're not wrestling every week, they obviously don't care. It's not that. It's just more so like, you just don't get the feeling that they're really trying to like push AEW and the tag division and tag wrestling forward anymore. And obviously, it's like, I don't know, man. It's tough because, like Joe said, like it feels like they've got so much more to offer, and it feels like they're kind of in the mindset where they're like, they've only been on TV for like what 4 or 5 years, you know.
It
like,
feels
since
like
AEW.
they've kind of. It feels like, and I say because we don't know, but it feels like they've kind of disconnected in some ways, and they're just like, we'll do what we're asked to do.
Yeah,
and I get it, but it's like, their 2021 is one of the great tag team years. I mean, they were just incredible. And I really hope that another heel tag title reign was a chance to like get back to that, you know, because they are better heels as TVX.
100%.
And I remember being really hopeful, and they had the ladder match with FTR, and then they went, and it's just, I don't know, man. It's a shame. I hope they can find a solution, because the show would be better for them being like, locked in, active, doing exciting stuff. Obviously, part of the problem is AEW got no new teams over. So for the most part, they're working with the same people. I mean, the Acclaim stuff's kind of fresh, but has other issues. There's a lot of problems with the tag division. But I just wish that, as a fan, I wish the Bucks were more like, I got the sense that they were really swinging for the fences. That's all.
Yeah, that's the only perspective we really can talk about it from. It's not like I'm talking to the Bucks as sources or anyone even not remotely close to them like that. It's just like, as a fan, like I said, when AEW was first starting, you really did get that, like, that you could feel it, you know. Whereas like now you feel kind of like the opposite about it. It's like you come on the timeline every day and people saying X, Y, and Z about the Bucks being lazy and not wanting to go to work. And it's like, I don't want to see that shit, bro. Do you know what I mean? Like, I want
some of the matches they had in that initial tag title run, that they had a fucking legitimately good match with the Varsity Blondes. Like you and I could have got in there with them, and they'd have given us something. You know, like, they're just so capable, man. Yeah, they're so capable. And maybe we're overthinking it, and maybe there's other elements of play, but it just, they
are beat up, man. But like, I guess that's kind of like the consequence of like over like the past decade or so, like past 15, 20 years of like the, guys like the Bucks who had to come up in like the Indies and your Ring of Honors and your PWGs like that to work a very physically demanding style.
Sure.
I don't think anyone's hid away from that over the. It's been beaten to death in how much it's been spoke about, but they're like 34, bro. Like they're not. It's not like they're 40 and shit. You know what I mean? Like, how old's Matt's the oldest?
Matt's got to be older than that, right? He's got to be older than 34.
Matt Jackson, Young Bucks. No, not footballer Matt Jackson. Matt Jackson, AEW. How old are these fuckers, bro?
That's got to be getting up there, dude.
Yeah, okay. So Matt's 39 and Nick's 35.
Getting there, dude. Like, it's a lot of plunder matches, ladders. Fuck, it happens. Maybe they just beat up. I don't know.
They definitely are beat up, bro. Like, I don't like you can't watch Matt Jackson in 2024 and think he's not beat up. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
and
Matt's definitely.
he makes shit work, and obviously even for like the past, even like 2023 and the 2022, bro. Like you could see that Nick Jackson had to, in terms of like doing like the flashy, more physical, demanding stuff. It's like Nick had to take like the bulk of that, and Matt, they're just so smart though when it comes to like putting matches together and shit in terms of getting
Totally.
crowds behind them. And I know some people kind of hate the matches and stuff, but I'm talking about just in terms of playing to the crowd, playing to that live audience. They know how to get the matches over. They're so good at it. So yeah, I'd love them to lock in as well, Joe.
Hopefully, the Wembley match over delivers. Which, let's be honest, it totally could. Triple threat tag situation, you presume. FTR and the Young Bucks putting a match together, and they've got, Bowens is explosive. Like it could over deliver, it could surprise people. If so, hopefully then we can get some momentum going. Because I don't think they're losing the belts at Wembley, do you? So we're just getting started, I think. I don't know where they'd go. I don't know if you'd give them why you'd give them to the Acclaim. I mean, I love FTR, obviously, but like I don't know why they'd win the tag belts really.
Don't know, man. The way TK's kind of like had the Acclaimed around, it's kind of
yeah,
kind of have slight concerns that he might do that, but yeah. And champion $2. The tiny con lazy booking gauntlets for all in # no faith.
# no faith.
I mean, concerning.
Yeah. Depends who's in it, to be honest. I don't think I'll see. I'll wait and see. I'm gonna hold judgment.
Kale, I think he's fantasy booking his Mania card with the 50 pesos. He says Jade versus Bianca, Gunther versus Cena, Rock versus Cody, Roman versus Jacob Fatu, Charlotte versus Tiffany, Rhea versus Io, Seth versus Punk, and Roxanne in a mid-card women's belt match. My WrestleMania. Good card, brother.
Good lord, man. This is gonna be there's some heavy hitters on this. So there's going to be some juggling going on in terms of getting everyone on this card.
Charlotte Flair versus Tiffany at Mania would be Stadium Charlotte.
It was very possible.
Trying to make a point that she can work with young talent. Like that's prime fucking that's prime Rick right there,
This is gonna be fascinating. Fascinating seeing how this comes together. There's a lot of matches already there and all of them you look at and go, yeah, that could happen. That could happen. I don't know.
Showtime Spurs $5. Joe, did you see that Kyrie and Braun are a mixed tag team? Has Alexa been replaced?
Great question. I think we need to call a meeting about that, to be honest. We'll see. Speaking of such, Montel.
Yes, Joe.
Maybe you saw my tweet last night. I was very upset at you about that happy birthday Alexa Bliss post.
Oh yeah, there was a slight typo.
Slight? You erased a world's tag team title reign, brother. It was insane.
It was too late to edit by the time I seen it. It was just man. When you piled on at like fucking 4 a.m, I was like, why is Joe doing this? Why is he out in this mistake? But went pretty under the radar,
That's what made me mad about it, is other people didn't notice it from what I saw. But yeah, I don't know. We need to figure that out. Good question, Chi-Town Spurs. We'll talk about it at the next board meeting.
Yeah, man. All right, so that's the super chats. That's the chat. I mean, that's carried the show. You know what I mean?
We did super chats for like an hour and 20 minutes, dude.
Well, that's what we wanted to do.
Yeah, just hang out.
We tricksters, No, but we're just hanging out. You guys give us stuff to talk about. I literally have nothing like.
No, I've got nothing.
Like this subject. I'd love to address this to the rest of Purist audience right now. Yeah, man, we're just still hanging out,
Just hanging out. Yeah. Well, as we're probably winding down now. So you have something urgent on your mind. Now's the time. What it could possibly be after we've sat for an hour and 45, I don't know. But I'm glad we did this. It was fun, wasn't it?
Yeah, man. I like
House
these
show
sort of
match.
pods. I like these house show sort of pods.
It was fun.
It's cool to just hang out sometimes.
It is
Have a little
indeed.
scroll through the Recipurist Twitter and see if there's anything funny. Did you see that Julia quote when she was talking about like her reaction at Stand and Deliver? Like it confused her, and she thought like she was like, "Whoa, was Dwayne just come out or something?" Like,
God bless. Do we know when she's debuting? Do we know
no
yet?
idea, mate. She's
No idea.
her last match is on the 19th of August, I believe.
They're probably just saving her for the big CW launch now, right?
Potentially,
Probably.
yeah. Potentially.
Dude, how hilarious is that Tuesday Night War going to be with Randall Orton on the CW?
He's doing it for the love of the game, you know.
It's going to be like, what is he possibly going to do on that show?
I don't know.
He's going to do like an all-star tag with Trick or something. The Good Brothers versus Randy Orton and Trick Williams.
Yeah, just you know what I mean. You just fucking That's a good thing with Trick, and you can just fucking throw anyone with him, and it's just like pop.
I am intrigued.
I've still got the video. Not the video. I've still got the picture of him with John Cena on my phone. Like, there's a picture of him with like Cody Rhodes, and it looks like Cody's like proper like giving him advice sort of thing.
Yeah, it's gonna be last year's Tuesday Night War was one of the funniest when Taker came out. And like, what did he do? Like chokeslam Bron Breakker or whatever the fuck. Oh my god, what a ridiculous TV that was. Into an incredible moment.
Unhinged stuff. Right,
it was. Yeah.
All right. Slim Reaper 35 499 says, know when their contract expires. Not when their contract expires, but thoughts on New Day in AEW. Feel like it would be mutually beneficial at this point of their career. I agree, to be honest.
I do too.
I think if Big E comes out and says that he's never wrestling again, I think I think that sways things like significantly.
Yes.
Because if you're Xavier and Kofi and knowing how like close and tight those guys are and have been throughout their careers, I don't think they're gonna like want to abandon even the slightest possibility of doing like a full reunion of the New Day in WWE.
No, they can't.
But if, like I said, if Big E comes out, in a year, in 2 years, or however long it may be, and it lines up with when their contracts come up, then I think I agree with the latter half of your super chat. I think it would be mutually beneficial for both of them at that point.
It would be fresh. They'd get a huge response. There'd be new matches for them in AEW. The Bucks match immediately comes to mind, right? We were just talking about there. And I think there's still a lot there. Like Kofi has physically, like he's feeling it. But he had a couple matches just this year that I thought he looked really strong. And Woods, I think Woods is just like straight up.
Really go.
Yeah, I think he's like super underrated because of how much he stuff his shtick. So I think if it worked out, I'm just saying if, folks, if it was like a Lucha Bros New Day trade, I'd be kind of like, they're both refreshed acts to me, like at that point. I'm not sure how happy everyone would be with that online. I don't know. In my brain, it makes sense because it's like, that's why you want to have two promotions, dude. You want movement. There are very few wrestlers need to stay in the same place for forever and ever and ever. I mean, the New Day have been an act in WWE for...
Oh my God, Joe.
Yes?
You talked about like trades and transfers, and we've fantasy booked about this for a while, So like, I believe it might have been PW Insider on their elite side of the show and their elite side of the website. They reported like it's Joe Hendry, but it's deeper than Joe Hendry, Joe. Because they're talking like WWE could buy him out of the TNA contract, which is basically what a football transfer is, isn't it? So if WWE went, could you imagine that? Like WWE signs Joe Hendry for, I don't know, 250K or whatever the fuck, Then obviously they pay for his contract and shit as well. We're getting closer, Joe. We're getting closer.
But why would they? Why would they do that? They could just use him.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. But there's the possibility of it being there is enough for me to
Oh,
call it a step
mate.
closer to the professional wrestling transfer window.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm with your excitement. I like your excitement. I just that's the issue of the TNA thing. It's like, I just don't know how you avoid situations like that, right? Like, oh, this guy's getting over. How much do you want? It's Oh, Hendry's a full-time guy. Do you think that works? Does it last?
Bro, I honestly, I'm one of those people who's like, I'm still undecided on Joe Hendry.
Yeah.
Not seeing enough of him. Understand why he's over. Understand why some people really like him. Understand why some people don't get it and even resent him. I haven't made my mind up quite yet. But yeah, we'll I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. He's obviously on a roll at the moment. People
He sure is.
people love the dude, man.
They
But
do.
yeah. If there was a wrestling transfer window, what month do you think would be the best for it? You got. Let's say, like, obviously the end of WWE season's Mania, which is April.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you couldn't do it following April because would that be fair on AEW building to All In? You know,
It
so
should
like,
be
when
in
would be?
January, and then because then everyone would debut at the Rumble, but then other people wouldn't be at the Rumble, and you'd go like, "Oh shit, they're gonna be on Dynamite," and then they show up on MLW Fusion. That's what it would be.
Cool
Because
Bowers used some of
January,
that 30 million to buy fucking.
yeah, he gets who's the funniest?
He buys Braun Strowman for 2.5 million. You know, bid accepted. Fabrizio Romano. Here we go. You
Look,
know.
dude, I absolutely. I don't know about transfer window. The trade thing pops me because the logic of you remember that really weird UFC one fighting deal where they put together with Ben Askren and Mighty Mouse. That was like the strangest thing that ever happened. They traded Mighty Mouse. It's like it was possible, I guess. Like
UFC got a terrible
mate,
deal in that. In
if I got
hindsight,
the book, if I got the pencil or Elite Wrestling, I'd be on the phone all day long.
but for real, just seeing what deals are out there, brother. You
Fellas, I've got Miro. He hasn't come to work for the last 7 months.
know, what can you do with him?
Yes, it would be fun. It would be incredible content. Could you imagine how wrestling Twitter would handle trades? Everyone would be mad all the time.
Oh,
Both
it'd be
sides would be
beautiful.
convinced they've lost. It'd be fucking awesome.
I'd try and create like a Fabrizio gimmick. You know, like a here
Yeah,
we
for
go.
sure.
We'd need
Yeah.
a here we go.
We could have like a trade machine too, where fans could like throw names in, and it'd be great. Imagine if I was in a position to actually make wrestling trades, the mess I would make of it. Day one, the Good Brothers come in.
Fair.
Still got a lot to offer.
It's good shit. 6-star 199. The Burton connection. Chills. Yeah, we've had a good time, man.
Yeah,
Had
that's
a good
cool.
time. Margaret. 4.99. Nice of both of you to show up to my family's fundraiser and donate in the other night. We really much appreciate it. Well, I ain't donating to nothing at the moment. I wish I could, but
Yeah.
hard time of year, you know what I mean, people.
I get it.
Darren Walker, £2. How would you book CM Punk and NXT on the 1st of October? I'd just have
Easy.
him come out and talk, bro. And
He
just
comes
kind
out
of
and talks.
mingle backstage, fist bump Trick Williams and shit, you know.
And
Maybe do a
then
save at the end of the show, you know. I don't know.
the Good Brothers interrupt him. And they put the boots to him. And then he gets the mic and says, I'll see you two in St. Louis, and I'm bringing a Viper with me. And then you do a 1.7 million for the Good Brothers versus CM Punk and Randy Orton on the CW.
Yeah. There you have it. Oh. All right. Trust the process 34 $4.99. Imagine if wrestlers were truly independent contractors. Brian wrestling scene at Mania before returning to AEW. Ryan with a 1 appearance deal for All In. I mean, I guess like free agents are
It would
truly
fucking
independent. Do you know
rule.
what I mean? But it's like it's just that WWE, AEW, for reasons which are pretty obvious, aren't going to use them. So things like that don't happen. You know what I mean? So it's like,
Yeah.
in terms of legalities and stuff, you know, like they are truly independent contractors when they are free agents. I know apparently some people refer to them as independent contractors when they're signed to AEW and WWE, but that's obviously not the fucking case, is it?
It would rule with like a really big name said, I'm not signing a full-time contract, and they just did spots in both places for. Can you imagine? Imagine like a John Cena did that. His last years. I'm not signing a contract. He just shows up wherever he fucking wants.
There's no one. I don't think there's a wrestler alive that's like big enough to like
they'd
put
take the
like,
risk.
even Roman, like even if Roman was like, yeah, I'm not signing a deal with you. I want to go AEW 1 month and then give it 2 months and I'll come back to WWE. I don't think WWE would go for it, bro.
You're probably right. That's very unfortunate because that'd be incredibly based.
It would be very funny as well.
Some of this stuff I think not this is a specific example, but I do think there should be room for crossover, even though I know there's never gonna be because it's just like war to these people. It's like
Bloodsport's the closest we're getting, bro.
Why couldn't we seriously? I know this is getting carried away, but we're an hour and 55 in. We could totally do an all-together style show, make a ton of money for charity, do a bunch of multi-man tags where the promotions are mixed up, so it hasn't got to be AEW versus WWE. You could team people up. It'd be fucking great. And who would get hurt by that, really? No one. It'll never happen. Because in the US,
if you're WWE, when you're the industry leader, it's like, why would we put our spotlight on another promotion? It's like that's for us as fans, it's shit. It's shit because what you just laid out sounds fucking really cool. Raise money for charity, good cause. The idea of it makes perfect sense and it's logical, and the world should be right, and we should be able to have these things.
Exactly, that's it. It's idyllic, I know. It's just because again, I ain't saying have Kenny Omega wrestle Roman Reigns because I understand the finishes and these, but you could absolutely mix the guys up. Fucking Mox teams with Roman.
Yeah, probably do a Shield reunion.
Because then it wouldn't even be a matter of what team you're on. It would just be again, none of this will ever happen. Ever happen. But
yeah, it's just from a business point of view, it's like, why would you? Because if you think about in terms of global audience and stuff, it's like WWE is still so
I get
bigger than
AEW.
You know what I mean? So it's like, why would we put them on the WWE network, and why would we promote them on our TV shows, and what would we do? You know what I mean? So it's like,
for sure. No, I understand.
Maybe a house show kind of thing that doesn't, doesn't get promoted. It's just all the ticket sales goes towards charity or some shit.
I guess the question that it would come down to for me, again, folks, I'm very aware this is going to happen. It's just in my brain, it's like, what would actually be the harm? If we're being completely honest, would there be a bunch of WWE fans that are like, oh shit, I'm going to watch Rampage now? It wouldn't happen really, right? It would just be like a cool thing, and I think there's a lot of stuff that's normal in other parts of the wrestling world. The example I always use is retirement shows. In Japan, if a guy's retiring, there are no boundaries at that point. We're going to try our best to give the guy the best return. That should be the norm. I'm sorry, dude. It just should be. It should be the norm. When I'll use an example because he's my guy, and with Samoa Joe, he said tomorrow I'm retiring. There's no reason that an AJ Styles can't come in to be in that tag match with. Who? What's going to
things like that? Things like that I could see could actually
that should happen.
See happening one day. In terms of doing an actual show together is different.
That's far-fetched.
In terms of WWE being we don't really want to, but fucking it's some other job. I could see Triple H being like, you know what? Fuck it.
That's why I said Joe, because we know he's not got any heat with the people over there. But it's I just think some things are bigger than the momentum shifts and the wars.
100%. Especially now that it's pretty clear that AEW are the alternative, not the we're coming for your spot. You know what I mean? Yeah. They're not coming for the throne, and they're not trying to be the industry leader. It was there was glimpses of in the early years. They're very much settled into being a very viable alternative that their fan base are happy with. Well, depending on what month you ask them, But
but broadly, your point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, now
never
that
happen,
they're not
yeah.
like at each other's front. But you know, every now and again, like Triple H will make a little backhanded comment, like
Yeah, and then
like
Tony
about the one
responds,
that
and
was
then
Then Tony calls him the Harvey Weinstein of professional wrestling. He's like, you know what I mean?
and then there's all
And
the
then
stuff behind the scenes, and it's just
there's all the fucking tampering. Contract tampering isn't real, by the way. I've decided that is my conclusion that I'd like to share with the rest of your audience before we get out of here. Because there was a lot of talk of contract tampering because it was like, the Lucha Bros have already spoke to WWE, according to, I think it was sources close, some in the Fightful report. People, contract tampering. Yeah. It's like, bro, like both companies talk to people, and obviously they don't let it get out because they can't. Do you know what I mean? And I guess the only thing interesting about this is the fact that it's like got out. Do you know what I mean? But happens all the time, bro. It basically don't exist. The only time any action will actually be done on contract tampering is if it's like super, super, super blatant, like it was when Triple H first took over creative in WWE.
yeah, that was kind of crazy.
Yeah, he basically rang like AEW, half of AEW's roster and was like, "Are you feeling?" you know.
Yeah,
And
that was
obviously
wild.
Tony had to Tony did what he had to with. I think he got like Mega involved as well in that shit. Do you know what I mean? So you know, when it's super, super blatantly just absurd, like the example I just used, and obviously something will get said or potentially done about it. But in general, like, bro, especially years like this, 2024, it's like conversations are happening, whether it's through wrestlers, whether some people are just picking up the phone and speaking to your TKs, your Nick Khans, your Triple H's, whoever they are. It's like, it's the contract tampering thing. Like, it's not real, man. it's just not a real
No,
thing.
and honestly, even beyond that, just giving a fuck as a fan is insane, dude. Like, who fucking cares, you know? Like, sweating bullets that your favorite promotions wrestler had got contract tampered. Come on. But well, the boys are getting paid, bro. That's the
And
thing
that
about
is
this
the beauty of
current
it.
landscape. Yeah, totally.
The boys are getting paid very handsomely. And schedules are getting better as well, so they're getting paid more for less dates now, and it's good time. It's a good time to be a wrestler if you're trying to get paid, and it's a good time to be a wrestler with some notability, you know, basically.
Sure.
All right, so I think we're done, John. I think we
Yes,
are
mate.
done.
I think so.
I think we're done. So, all right. This was an unplanned, random stream. Just me and my brother Hulbert hanging out. You know, it does pop me seeing how much the people on Twitter and people in the live chat pop and be like, Joe's going to be on the show. And it's like, it's like CM Punk's all his returns, you know?
Yeah,
like,
keep returning.
keep returning.
Yeah.
But like I said, he took a break from the schedule. We'll figure some stuff out eventually one day, you know? We're letting you have your little free agency month of...
it's honestly, dude, stuff like this is ideal in a lot of ways because it's just like, you just do graps talk, right? That's what you and I, that's what we actually
You ain't got
enjoy
to watch
doing.
anything or like feel like you have to break reviews down.
That's the thing.
It's a
I'll be
different
around.
thing.
Like for full transparency with the audience, because I know that with the Wrestle Curious audience, I've been like, I came back for the 10K show where there was like 8 people on, so I wasn't going to exactly, you know. For full transparency, before we get out of here, the reality of what's coming up is in a couple of weeks here with Late Night Grim, we're going to kind of expand some of that stuff, and we're going to have a membership plan. And that will be a lot of my week will be these shows, and it will be stuff that's quirky, right? It won't be like, you know, the Raw review. It will be, you know, the kind of shit that I would do, right? Like, you know, let's cover NXT from 10 years ago. But I will be around on Wrestle Curious, and it could be anything from shows like this. It could be like a pay-per-view review show. It could be some retro stuff, no doubt. But I'll be around because, you know, it's inevitable. I mean, this show literally came together like an hour before we was live, right? If that.
Not even that, yeah, as I said, not even that.
Yeah. So I'll be around. It just, I don't know if it will get back to like I host this show, I co-host that show, because it's just, you know, it's like I don't know if I want to do that as a fan anymore. I mean, you and I spoke about it at length. It's
yeah,
like,
bro, it's I guess like for me with like Wrestlepurus, it's like playing to certain people's strengths and what they like. Even if like Joe's great at reviews, you know, and our audience loves Joe's reviews and stuff, but it's like, is that the right fit in me making Joe watch Dynamite every week? Do you know what I mean? So it's like, then it's like with Ibu on the flip side, it's like Ibu is very much like he wants to just be able to like show up to a stream and just start talking. Do you know what I mean? Whereas like the stuff that takes a bit more planning, like I don't know, like a pre-recorded retro review, or I don't know, like a video essay or stuff like that. That would take him like sitting down, writing something out, recording it, re-recording it because he didn't like the sound of it, and doing all these different things. It's like that's kind of like not what Ibu's ever really shown too much interest in doing. Do you know what I mean? So it's like I play to what I think he wants to do, if that makes sense. Hence why he's got, you know, he does like 3 shows if we do a Sunday, because he's on most Sundays. He does Worldwide with me and Anou, and then he does the Raw review, you know, which is great that we have him for those things. With Joe, if he was to ever come back into, it's funny having this conversation on it. If Joe was to come back into the WrestlePuris fold and was like, okay, we want to get him on a weekly show. It's like, one, I wouldn't put him on the Dynamite or the Raw review. Like we'd just do. It'd be something like this. It'd actually be something like this. It would just be like, we're gonna hang out at this fucking time of week, you know. Not that's something where it's like, oh, Joe, you've got to watch this, and oh, Joe, you got to know what's going on with this news story this week. It's like, because it's just like,
it don't suit me. Like people are good at that. It don't suit me. But it's like, I am glad we're having the conversation on the air, because I do think I was surprised, and I think this is the case. I didn't appreciate how many folks that connected with me and actually had come to know me through WrestlePurist exclusively. Because I was with you with WrestlePurist on day one, right? So in my mind, it was just like a thing that organically. But then I realize now when I do late night grin, I see new names in the chat, and it's like a lot of it is people that came from WrestlePurist. So I think it's important to kind of be transparent and stress that I'll be around, and it'll probably just be more fluid, because it's like the main thing for me is just I don't want to sacrifice my enjoyment of wrestling. You know, that's the thing I'm fearful of, because you see people, and look, some of my friends, God bless them, but you see people just absolutely just distraught of their wrestling intake. You know, just punching walls in fear and madness.
We've got friends, brother.
Yeah, we have. But I don't want to be that way, man. That's not really my temperament. So it's like I'll be around. There may be sometimes where I watch Dynamite and I say to Monty, I'm gonna be on the review. It might happen sometimes, you know. But coming up, I've got some LNG stuff. Once that settles, I think Monty and I will figure some stuff out. But 100%. Good times. Good times.
We're gonna have our negotiations. You know, we're gonna sit down, talk some big numbers and stuff, and talk some creative, and you know. But I want to start doing more stuff on the channel that isn't just live streams as well. You know, it's like you guys really love like Joe's like video essays and stuff like that when we was doing them in like 2023. I'd love to do I'd love to get to a point where we're dropping one of those. I don't know, even like one a week, you know, like Joe does one once a month, Jamie does one once a month, I'll do one. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, you know, obviously that's something that I think you would be, because you can do things about what you want to do them about. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't have to be like, oh, Joe,
exactly.
Cover, I don't know, the latest Dynamite rating. You know? So yeah, man. I'm definitely going to try and expand more and more as the year goes on with the sort of content that we do, and just kind of play to my roster strengths, you know.
We got a squad, brother. We got a squad. So.
Like I said, we do have a good, like you said, we do have a good squad. So people are differences. Like I just outlined the differences between like Joe and Ibu. Do you know what I mean? In terms of like actually like getting them onto content, you know, booking them for content, whatever you want to call it, you know. Yeah, Ibu's great, you know. Ibu's great. You got to play the game his way, you know. I can't, bro. If I went to Ibu, it was like, Ibu, I'd love you to write a script about like CM Punk's return to WWE, or just I don't know, like something that you'd think he would be like into. Do you know what I mean? Or Bron Breakker being the next top guy or something. He might even say yes. Do you know what I mean? He might even say yes.
He'll mean it.
And it'll be November, and there would be no script. Do you know what I mean?
What a beast.
In that time, he's done 20 live streams and so it's, you know what I mean? He brings a lot. It's just
he's the man, dude.
Playing to people's strengths, you know what I mean? And like I said, going forward, it's not like I'm going to be like the Joe. Like, Joe, let's review Raw, you know? And shit like that. So, anyway. Shout out my roster. I very much do have a lot of love. It's like a little fam. You know, a lot of us, we haven't had like that many new people over like the past few months. So it's very much like a lot of people who like we all know each other for a long time, like and stuff like that now. So
Yeah.
I am actually looking for a few new people to add to the squad. So
Young Lions, Rest Furious Young Lions.
I need a star, bro. You
Need a
know,
star.
need a star. You know,
Mm.
need a star, brother.
Have you spoke to Robert O'Neill yet?
Robert O'Neill's
Pricey.
he's hard to work with, I've heard. So
He is, yeah, he is.
he's hard to work with. You know, that's the issues that I've been having. Anyway, let's actually wrap it up now.
Let's go.
Thanks for watching, fellas and ladies. We'll be back maybe tomorrow, bro. Maybe tomorrow. I haven't actually planned anything, but I'm gonna reach out to like Ibu or etc. See what they're saying tomorrow. Charlie's still away at that festival. But yeah, like I said, I'm going to see what the guys are saying. We might do a stream tomorrow. And but yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for the super chats. Please like and subscribe on the way out. And if you're watching this on delay, then leave us a comment as well because it all helps. But yeah, one last time, thanks for watching. Peace.